Chapter 5793. After the two overlapped, Jian Wushuang used his mind to explore again. But when his thought power touched the Tower of Nine Tribulations, a violent breath shook him back directly. The divine bodies are beginning to fall apart. Cooked a lot of injury. Although injured, Jian Wushuang leaked a smile. The stronger the better. This also shows that his guess is true. This Nine Tribulations tower really has a certain connection with the Guantian chessboard. And the breath of the two is converging. The gathered breath continued to rise to the point that it floated in the sky of the cave world. A magnificent bridge appeared. Jian Wushuang looked up at the huge bridge, which was a shocking force. With his gaze jumping, Jian Wushuang was stunned when he looked behind the bridge. Vaguely, he saw a huge 9-story tower with perseverance behind the bridge. This time, I don't need to use mental strength to get in. You can enter directly by walking. After recovering from the injury, he began to walk carefully toward the Tower of Nine Tribulations. All these seemed to be false, and the faces of the Guantian chessboard and the Tower of Nine Tribulations have already overlapped. The atmosphere was created by the breath of these two treasures. But Jian Wushuang was willing to take a look. Step by step, he walked across the bridge and came to the bottom of the Tower of Nine Tribulations. I looked up and couldn't see the top of the tower, towering into the sky. Sure enough, it's not ordinary. Its power is not weak. Guantian chessboard. Jian Wushuang exclaimed in his heart. In the time and space of Guyu, the treasure of time and space has never appeared. Could it be that the ornaments that have been circulated are the treasures of time and space? Jian Wushuang shook his head unconsciously. Really want to be so. At that time, the empty treasure will become Chinese cabbage. Here is the long river of time and space. Not in the depths of the stars. If it is said that there are many time and space treasures in the starry sky, he believes. Since coming to Guyu time and space, he has understood. The so-called 9 great time and space is actually the upstream time and space. Because it is close to the stars, the overall strength is much stronger than the midstream and downstream. But on inheritance and treasure, not necessarily. The inheritance of Qi Temple is more suitable for him. Moreover, there is a treasure of time and space in Qishan Temple. Although it was the broken god, it was left over. But after all, unlike Guyu Shikong, none of them was born. Nine Tribulations Tower, it is the first one. Also let the outsider Jian Wushuang get it. Under the tower, a huge golden gate blocked Jian Wushuang's path. With one hand out of the palm, an aura burst out, directly blasting on the golden gate. The golden giant door also opened. Everything is going smooth. Smoothly made Jian Wushuang a little flustered, but bite the bullet and walked in. Inside the Nine Tribulations pagoda, there was a strange aura spreading out. Unconsciously, it's like going into it. Taking a step, Jian Wushuang felt an unprecedented ease at the moment he entered the tower. And even his mood improved. The kind of feeling that makes people completely relaxed. The combat power has been improved a bit. Clenching fists with both hands, a little breath exploded, all feeling different. I moved my body at will, and became more flexible. At this time, he began to observe the surroundings. Inside the tower, it was unusually empty. The color is monotonous. In the center, there is this white beam of light. When I walked in, I found that it was natural light coming from Shangfen. There is nothing special. At present, it seems that the environment of the Tower of Nine Tribulations is somewhat special. There is no other use. But he was not in a hurry. It was the same when I got the Guantian chessboard. The stronger the treasure, the more difficult it is to figure out. He just thought so, but was slapped in the face by reality. In the white beam of light, a figure suddenly appeared, frightening Jian Wushuang. Seeing the figure, he quickly backed away. His right hand reacted quickly, and he directly held the hilt behind the sword, responding to the figure in the beam of light at any time. Welcome to the Tower of Nine Tribulations. A stiff voice came from the silhouette of the light beam. More and more real figures. Also let Jian Wushuang see the other side's appearance clearly. Wearing a very fancy mask, white temples and special clothes. Dressed like never seen before. The Pagoda of Nine Tribulations comes from the ancient moon ruins, and it may be the earliest practitioner of the ancient moon time and space. It's normal if I haven't seen it before. Jian Wushuang comforted himself. The stiff voice made him feel more like a puppet. So he didn't speak politely, and asked loudly, Your Excellency, is it the spirit of the instrument, or the cultivator who is sealed in the tower? Neither. The strangely dressed masked man shook his head. Jian Wushuang's eyes changed slightly, and he felt that the person in front of him was really a living person. But speaking, he was very stiff, just like a puppet. Then why are you here? Nothing. It's still in the pagoda of 9 tribulations. Could it be that the true master of the Tower of 9 Tribulations? It's really possible. When the masked man heard it, the corners of his mouth curled up, and he slowly walked out of the beam of light, and said calmly, I'm just waiting for someone here. The person you are talking about, isn't it me? Jian Wushuang was a little less confident when he said this. Because the Tower of 9 Tribulations and the Guantian chessboard resonated. He felt that it was a treasure left to him by teacher Xian Yi. Now it seems that it is not very similar. It may also be the Guantian chessboard. When encountering a treasure of the same level, there will be resonance. It is because he wants to be crooked. In any case, he earned the pagoda of 9 tribulations. It's you, but it's not you. The masked man is like a riddler said in the mist. Jian Wushuang directly said, Can you just speak directly? Wait for someone to beat me. The masked man replied lightly, causing Jian Wushuang to almost laugh. The reason why he can talk to each other so easily, it's because he can see the opponent's strength, which doesn't seem very good. Although I don't know whether it is a person or a ghost, it has a smell of supernatural power. It's just that this supernatural power is very weak. Only about 200,000. If he blows the air, he can kill the opponent. Then you are waiting for the person you are waiting for today. Jian Wushuang slammed, shot out in an instant, punched out, and hit the masked man's door directly. This punch, the explosive power, at least 400,000. It is equal to his basic supernatural power. Solve a masked man with 200,000 supernatural powers. That's too simple. Boom! A huge burst of fists broke through the eardrum, thinking that the opponent can be easily solved, but found that the masked person has long since disappeared. Jian Wushuang was stunned as soon as his thought power moved. The other party was actually behind him, and still turned his back to him. Behind his hands, it was very relaxed. That divine power was still 200,000 without any change. How is this possible? Jian Wushuang said in surprise. Your divine power is very weak. How can you avoid my attack? His punch just now was not only an explosion of divine power, but also an explosion of speed. Even the Lord of the Universe can't escape a punch. The other party actually avoided. Really? It's not that simple. Originally, he thought that the Tower of 9 Tribulations should be the same as most treasures. Divided into 9 layers. Each layer has a guardian, and you can obtain treasures by defeating one. He sees most of this kind of roads. Chapter 5794. Unfortunately this time he guessed wrong. The 9-story tower of the 9 tribulations is good. However, the strength of the guardian in this tower is a bit hard to understand. If relying on strength to avoid his attack, he still has some clues. The other party is like a ghost. Go back and attack again. A series of attacks could not hit the opponent at all. Be careful. The masked man's voice suddenly became severe, and when Jian Wushuang attacked, he avoided again. This time he not only avoided the attack, but also hit Jian Wushuang's head with his backhand and knocked hard. Jian Wushuang's eyes went black, and he almost fainted. He was not injured. Neither his origin nor his divine power had changed, but the moment he had just had an indescribable pain. Just like an adult hitting a child. Jian Wushuang held the back of his head, turned his head to look at the masked man who had hidden far away, and was completely angry. What a shame! What? Clenching fists with both hands, the red breath erupted from the body. What? The power of the beast broke out directly. With twice the power of the beast god, the divine power also came to 500,000. At this moment he began to take it seriously. He didn't do it directly, but even crossed his arms, and figures began to appear behind him. Origin clone. The breath of each clone is the same, but the combat power is different. It's just that the combat power is different, others can't see it. He didn't believe that the other party could break this. Just fight here. There will always be a clone to meet each other. Although the combat power of the clone is much worse. But the opponent with a mask of 200,000 supernatural powers is still very relaxed. Thanks, Tusk, you better not be touched by me. Jian Wushuang sneered. Several figures began to flicker. It was left by the afterimage. And the real body had already arrived in front of the opponent. 74 clones immediately surrounded the masked man. Surround the opponent and shoot together. But Jian Wushuang's deity stared at the opponent. He wanted to see how the other party avoided it. Then take the opportunity to sneak over. Avoid the 74 clones. But also pay attention to his deity. Can't avoid it at all. The space here is very small. There is not enough room for Shenfa to display. But the next moment he was dumbfounded. The clone is perfect almost every shot. But the masked man quickly dodges with an incomprehensible body technique. Of all the clones, none of them can touch each other. And when he was watching from a distance, he had the illusion of shrinking into an inch. This place seems to have become wider. His crowded tactics are no longer feasible. Only the deity can sneak attack. 500,000 divine power. This is the threshold of the 5 tribulations realm. Coupled with a sneak attack and siege. He didn't believe it. Gather the chi with both hands, condense into a group. Throw it directly. And use the burst of breath to cover his own deity. Quickly approaching the opponent's back. And a hand knife stabbed out. It was clearly hit. But Jian Wushuang couldn't laugh. Ha! The back shot in front of him shrank for a moment, and then disappeared. That is the afterimage left by Shenfa. Even if his eyes are bad, his hands can feel it hitting the air. Yes, I was able to keep up with my afterimage so soon. But you still have your whole cards. Let's use it together. The masked man yawned with his hands behind his back. After Jian Wushuang heard it, he became even more angry. Especially when you see the yawn. Obviously look down on him. When has he been so angry? And the opponent's strength is obviously much weaker than him. There is a kind don't hide. Jian Wushuang was obviously a little lost. He had just said it and regretted it. The masked man came to him again, and in an incredible way, Jian Wushuang blasted a punch and hit the air. Before he could attack again, he felt a twisted sensation in his abdomen, which made the whole person convulse. The masked man really made a move this time. Not only did he shoot, but he also hit him by the way. Dodging his punch, the other party returned a punch and hit Jian Wushuang in the abdomen. Cold sweat appeared on the painful Jian Wushuang's forehead. Outrageous. But he didn't believe it. The power of 500,000 is not enough. That's 600,000. He hasn't lost the same level. And the key opponent's strength is not at the same level as him. How can I lose to the other side? A thing that a person is not a ghost or a ghost. For times the power of the beast god, directly increased by 200,000 divine power. The power of the whole body reached 600,000. It can be regarded as a small pinnacle of him. Shot again but was still avoided. But this time, he didn't use the clone or sneak attack, so he hit the opponent's afterimage. The masked people are also somewhat different, exclaiming. You still hide your strength. So what else can you use earlier? You don't have much time. Time is running out. Jian Wushuang frowned. He doesn't want to do a senseless offense anymore. The power of the beast also disappeared instantly. The other party said that the time is almost up. What does it mean? It's impossible. If you can't beat the opponent, you will have to kill him. Yes, I will only give you half an hour. If you don't beat me, you will have to wait a year before you come again. The time here is calculated according to the normal flow rate. You show the flow rate of time is useless. The masked man did not forget to explain the flow rate of time. Jian Wushuang breathed a sigh of relief. Chance to challenge once a year. In just 1 year, how can he improve? Even in the outside world, he can accelerate time. But he cannot improve much. Besides, a year later, it is already a holy meeting. He didn't have time to come back to the Tower of 9 Tribulations. The opponent is so weird, especially the opponent's dodge, if you can learn it. Then invincible. When the time comes, the Lord of the Universe in the 6 Tribulations realm will not be afraid. I don't know what benefits will be gained by defeating the opponent. Of course, the best thing is to teach him this trick. He took the opportunity to ask. You haven't said what is the advantage of defeating you. Otherwise I will be in vain. You are right, defeating me is really a waste of work. As for the good, it is the achievement you made at the moment you defeated me. His face calmly replied. Jian Wushuang almost vomited blood. What is the achievement at the moment of defeating him? Is it possible that the opponent is the best in time and space? Defeating him, he will be invincible? It is ridiculous. If you don't believe me, you can try it. The masked man was very confident in himself. Jian Wushuang said coldly. Try it, try it. After speaking, the breath on his body suddenly turned blue. Eternal change. The blue Jian Wushuang's combat power may not be as strong as the 600,000 divine power. Because he is still an emperor, his origin has not changed much, and his promotion is not as exaggerated as his divine power. When he reaches the Lord of the Universe, he will still have the strongest origin. But there is a certain kind of self-confidence that makes him feel that the blue self is more confident. The key is that he can use the eternal thickening, which can increase the sword, so that he can use the starry sky catalog. He didn't believe that the other party could avoid his star catalog. Chapter 5795. The Sword of Life cannot be avoided, unless the other party is not a life. However, this is really possible. He doesn't look like a person at first glance. The power of the starry sky. The masked man commented. This is a bit interesting. Jian Wushuang opened his mouth in surprise and said blankly, You even know the power of the stars? The power of the starry sky. Too little is known in the long river of time and space. What he had seen was also Nie Yuan, who had used the power of the stars. This is the power that belongs to the starry sky. The other party even knows this. If you think about it, it's actually nothing. The Tower of Nine Tribulations is the same as the chessboard of Guantian, probably all spread from the stars. Knowing the power of the starry sky is also normal. You don't think that you are the only one who has the power of the starry sky. The masked man said. His body shape changed and his breath turned blue. And the arc is also flashing. At this moment, Jian Wushuang was not only shocked, but also felt the origin of the other party. Time is mixed in that equity source. Hurry up. You only have a stick of incense left. Jian Wushuang was not talking nonsense either, holding the hilt in his right hand, and directly drew out the sword of 10,000 tribulations. Starry Sky Catalog. The first sword. As soon as the voice fell, a green breath burst into the monotonous hall. Life. He knew the moment he felt the origin of the other party. One sword. Life fall. That is death. Looks like a sword cutout. It's a double sword slippery cut. Life goes with death. At this moment he really felt it. The feeling of the blade passing through the opponent's body. Song. Take the sword. All in one go. Slowly turned around, looked at the other person's gray figure, and said, You lost. What sword technique did you use just now? The masked man's stiff voice came. Jian Wushuang said calmly, Starry Sky Swordsmanship. You're lying. The masked man shook his head. He didn't think it was a Starry Sky Swordsmanship. He originally came from the stars. How could he have never seen this kind of swordsmanship? It broke his freedom. I have no reason to lie to you. This is the Starry Sky sword that I created. Perhaps it is not called the Starry Sky, but it is the Starry Sky I painted. Jian Wu had no expression on both sides. At the moment of victory, he didn't have much joy, because he seemed to really get a sense of comfort. This mood is very special. He is too late to taste. Disappeared. Maybe. The body of the masked man recovered again. When looking at Jian Wushuang, there was a strange color in his eyes. You are the first practitioner who defeated me for the first time against me. No wonder you were chosen. The masked man recognized Jian Wushuang's strength very much. Not only strength, but more importantly Jian Wushuang's swordsmanship, made him admire him with admiration. Jian Wushuang raised his eyebrows and said, Is there anyone else who came to the Nine Tribulations Pagoda before? It's too much. Not long ago, a celestial lady from your time and space came here. But she defeated my first-tier clone after tens of thousands of times. Jian Wushuang was startled when he heard it. It's not that it's too bad. Instead, he was stunned when he heard the word triumph. Not long ago, The other party's concept of time is too exaggerated. There have been hundreds of millions of epochs since the fall of the goddess. Tens of thousands of times. In other words, there are more than thousands of 8 tribulation realm universe masters born and fallen. What a long time this is. In the opponent's mouth, it was not long ago. Could the goddess have not fallen yet? This is also a possibility. When he entered this place, he was intercepted by a goddess. It was Huiqing who blocked the opponent. And Huiqing also fell into the ancient moon ruins. That's where the goddess fell. This has always been a mystery. Now there is a chance to ask the other party about the goddess. But the other party's answer made him dumbfounded. The goddess has indeed fallen, but her spirit is still in this world. It is beyond reincarnation. Beyond reincarnation, that also represents eternity. How could it fall after the eternal existence? Jian Wushuang slurped his head and became increasingly confused. When he wants to ask each other, the masked man took off his mask. A delicate face appeared before his eyes, difficult to distinguish between male and female. His face is pale. He has white hair on top of his head with a high crown. Behind him, there is this huge ring, much wider than his body. From now on you can call me Weiss. As soon as the voice fell, a scepter fell into Li Si's hands. The original source and divine aura of the opponent's body had disappeared. Jian Wushuang looked at each other now, as if he was looking at the air. If it weren't for having a pair of eyes, you wouldn't be able to feel the other person's existence by just thinking. When he faced the Lord of the 7 Tribulations realm universe, the other party did not deliberately hide, and he would feel a breath like the sun. But facing Li Si, Jian Wushuang didn't notice anything. This is very strange. Either the other party deliberately suppressed his breath, or his strength surpassed him too much. Weiss, Jian Wushuang said silently, and then asked, "Now you can talk about the usefulness of this pagoda of 9 tribulations." Li Si covered his mouth and smiled and said, "Of course I can tell. I will be your master in the future, and you can tell you everything you want to know." "Master?" Jian Wushuang was surprised. "You want to be my master?" Unexpectedly, refining a treasure, there is such a strange thing. Also apprentice. But what he cares most is the pagoda of 9 tribulations. Whether it has anything to do with teacher Xuani, can resonate with the Guantian chessboard, because it is the reason of the treasure of time and space, or because of the teacher Xuani. Now the other party jumped out and asked him to apprentice. Jian Wushuang, who made him, was a little at a loss. But when he thinks that even a goddess has rushed tens of thousands of times to pass, he can pass it once, and a sense of satisfaction arises spontaneously. It seems that apprenticeship does not suffer. Jian Wushuang took a deep breath and was about to kneel down to apprentice, but was stopped by Weiss. "You don't need to salute like this. In my world, the master-disciple relationship is just a tool." Weiss' words were very straightforward, making Jian Wushuang not know how to answer for a while. Upon seeing this, Weiss continued and said, "You will understand later. There is also this small tower. It is not called 9. Halfway through the conversation, Weiss seemed to have thought of something, and finally shook his head and said calmly, "You call it the Tower of 9 Tribulations. You said that the goddess also rushed through. Why did he fall and you are still alive?" Jian Wushuang looked at the other party so straightforwardly, but he was not restrained. After hearing this, Weiss looked stunned, then tapped Jian Wushuang's head with his scepter, and said dissatisfied, "I am a god, how can I die, huh?" She covered her mouth and smiled after she said it. According to common sense, the goddess should also be his disciple. No wonder it is just a tool. Chapter 5796. The disciple died, and he was still laughing. "Are you a god? Does eternal existence?" Jian Wushuang continued to ask. He never understood the concept of God. In the ordinary times there are gods, but when you really reach that level, it's not a big deal to find gods. It can also be killed. At this time, I heard people claiming to be gods again. He really didn't understand. Wes covered his mouth and coughed twice, and said, "You mean the 3 from upstream time and space? Eternal existence. It's actually a name for Jian Wushuang. For the 3 true pinnacle powerhouses, there is no complete name. It has anything called it. Yes, that's the three superpowers. Their strength should be the same as the original goddess. Jian Wushuang said excitedly. If so, Navis' strength would be hard to guess. Can teach a character like a goddess? You are wrong. The three you mentioned are also in the tribulation realm. And the goddess are also the same. These people have not yet escaped the shackles, and are not gods. And I am the true of the entire time and space. Weiss finished speaking. His eyes looked they are all a bit sharp. Jian Wushuang couldn't help taking a step backwards. The breath of an instant reminded him of the eye he saw from the starry sky. Too strong. It makes people unable to breathe. He understood the concept of God now. Weiss said that only he is a god, and the rest are still in the tribulation state. The probability of the original goddess is also the nine tribulations realm. Above the nine tribulations realm, there is a stronger existence. It's just that there is nothing in the long river of time and space. Since you are the only god, why are you in this small tower? Jian Wushuang said in doubt. The opponent is so strong. Why are they still trapped in the small tower? And also accept apprentices as tools. This doesn't make sense. The Tower of Nine Tribulations. It's not as simple as you think. I am entrusted by others here. And I can't tell you this. Weiss' answer made Jian Wushuang think of teacher Xuani. Then he asked, is it an old man named Xian Yi entrusted by others? Weiss just shook his head without answering. Jian Wushuang was a little speechless. The other party who is guilty is God. Don't know anything. But it seems that it has nothing to do with teacher Xian Yi. But how should the resonance from the Guantian chessboard be explained? According to Weiss, the Guantian chessboard does not belong to time and space, but a treasure in the starry sky. The Tower of Nine Tribulations is also a treasure in the starry sky. The two are not of the same level, but come from the same place. That's why there was some resonance. And finally opened the Pagoda of Nine Tribulations. Jian Wushuang was not very satisfied with this explanation. He is not interested in Weiss. To be precise, Weiss' tone was too loud. The strong road he wants to go. But I have not forgotten my original intention. Walking in time and space, looking for teacher Xuani, but also to find his own way, rather than being guided by God. Seeing Jian Wushuang's silence, Weiss talked about the Pagoda of Nine Tribulations. Jian Wushuang, you will be my disciple from now on, but you can't reveal my identity, and I won't care about your life or death. But I will teach you the most powerful secret method in time and space, and you will reward me. Become the strongest in this time and space. Weiss said his purpose. Jian Wushuang was not surprised when he heard it. Become the strongest in this time and space. This can't be said that the other party's tone is loud, but that he has just witnessed the strength of the other party. To be honest, I am not interested. Jian Wushuang shook his head. He has now created a catalogue of the starry sky, and when he is the Lord of the universe, he will be able to create even more powerful super-eternal changes. There is no shortage of powerful secrets at all. He always doubted the identity of the other party. I don't want to forge cause and effect with people anymore. You have to pay it back when you come out. The first person in time and space, how easy it is. If the opponent is just a true spirit, he may be tempted because he cannot be restrained. But the other party is a he can't see through. How to cooperate? Not sure. Weiss seemed to see through Jian Wushuang. The scepter tapped the ground lightly, and the surrounding scenes instantly changed. Jian Wushuang, how much do you know about time and space? How much do you know about the stars? Weiss said, raising his hand to evoke an arc. That is Jian Wushuang's lifeline. At the same time, it is also the timeline of Jian Wushuang. You came from the mundane and traveled through many material realms. Then you entered a strange universe. Let me see what you have experienced. The timeline that even the true spirit of Qi Temple could not see was extremely simple in the eyes of Weiss. Jian Wushuang was also taken aback. I looked up and saw my life from weak to strong. Weiss looked at Jian Wushuang about divine power universe, nodded and said, no wonder your strength is so strong. It's kind of interesting. It seems that your spiritual path has been changed by someone. He should not touch this time and space. It's a pity that I can't find him, otherwise he will be punished. Change the time. Jian Wushuang was taken aback. Then I thought of my future self. The future self has failed in harmony. He originally thought that he had succeeded in harmony with his strength now, but he did not expect that someone had changed his timeline. And that person is not at this time. It's not Teacher Schwani. He already had the answer in his heart. Calm, but he couldn't believe it. In the words of Weiss, he dared to speak out the punishment. That shows that you are in the same realm with Teacher Schwani. Sky. Weiss smiled and stared at Jian Wuxuang and said, "Don't be surprised. Time and space are transmitted from the starry sky. There is nothing impossible. Your timeline is now in my hands, and no one can change it anymore." Who is the one who changed it? Why doesn't this time exist? Jian Wuxuang seized the opportunity to ask what the secret was in his body. He is nothing. In the present time and space, he doesn't exist at all. Perhaps, as he said, he will see you in the future. See you in the future. When is the future? Jian Wuxuang was silent. There is a sorrow in my heart. Now his goal is to kill the life, and his future goal is to find Teacher Schwani. What about after that? In the future, he may be lonely. Lost the meaning of practice. The priest. Wes stepped forward, patted Jian Wuxuang's shoulder lightly and said, "You don't have to be sad. The road to the future is very long, and the world you see is actually outlined, so you don't have to be nostalgic. No, it is a world of flesh and blood. You high gods don't understand at all." Jian Wuxuang shook his head. From the mundane to the present, he feels too much. Even if the Taoist heart is perfect, it will retain a trace of respect for the secular. God. I don't understand. Because God does not come from a weaker age. When the other party spoke, Jian Wuxuang guessed it. Tower of 9 tribulations. It seems that I have to add another sum to myself. Being strong is not the goal. The purpose is to pursue a powerful process. That is the meaning of existence. Chapter 5797. The loud horn sounded. On this day, the strong from all sides of Vietnam gathered in the royal capital. Holy meeting. Advent. The female emperor personally led the team, and the entire Yu country, including all forces, was divided into 2 factions. One faction is the royal family powerhouse. Naturally the person of the empress. For example, Jian Wuxuang and Wu Li, as well as the one whom Wu Li wooed. There are also some strong men of the Yu royal family. The other faction is the people of the 7-star sect. Elder Mu Chun is also included. The 7-star sect is actually a subsidiary sect of the 8-star sect, although it is from the Gumu faction on the bright side. But the sacred meeting will still help the strong in the country. But it is vying for a good ranking. If it is normal, I am afraid there will be nothing. But this time the holy meeting, the female emperor is determined. The strong people who can see this holy meeting are all super beings of the same level. 4 strong emperors, 2 royal families. Naturally, Jian Wuxuang and his wife. The other 2 are from Qinjianmen. Lord of the Universe 24. The Lord of the Universe in the 5 tribulations realm is the only female emperor who needs all-out assistance this time. There are 4 masters of the universe in the 4 tribulation realm. 2 royal families, 1 King Yanzong, and the patriarch of the 2nd family of the Yu kingdom, the Li patriarch, also went out in person. The remaining masters of the universe are all the pinnacles of the 3 tribulations realm. Powerhouses from major families and 2 major forces. Today is their day of departure. Jian Wuxuang also happened to have left the Tower of 9 Tribulations today. Outside the imperial palace, as a cold voice sounded, all the powerhouses boarded the battle boats that had already been prepared. Set off. The strong men who participated in the sacred congregation boarded a war boat alone. On both sides of the warship, there are 2 larger warships. The riders in Shangfen were all family elders, and Tianjiao among the emperors. When the congregation opens, the strong people who participate in the congregation often don't have as many strong people watching it. Just like this time, there are tens of thousands of strong people watching the holy meeting. However, there are only dozens of strong men from Vietnam participating in the holy meeting. After boarding the war boat, Jian Wuxuang, Elder Mu Chun, and Wu Li sat in front of a case. The 3 chatted. Princess Jin Chen, rarely quiet, sat silently. Jian Wushuang knew what she was thinking. It's nothing more than thinking of Sergio. This time it was a chance for the two to meet. Jian Wushuang is not interested in this at all. Leaving Vietnam today, he might not come back. When the time comes, he and Wu Li will have to run away. Before Wu Li left, the core members of the family had been arranged. Jian Wushuang had nothing to worry about, just thinking about where he would go in the future. At the same time, he was also reminiscing about the things in the Pagoda of Nine Tribulations. After Apprentice Weiss, he successfully entered the Pagoda of Nine Tribulations for the second time, began to challenge the second clone of Weiss. It is a pity that it is not an opponent at all. There is too much gap, and it can only stay in the first level of practice. There is nothing special about practicing in the Pagoda of Nine Tribulations. Mainly when practicing the secret method that Weiss taught him, the practice is very smooth. Only in the Pagoda of Nine Tribulations can we practice the secret method that Weiss teaches him. And it's the deity who goes to practice. Freedom to work hard. Jian Wushuang recalled the free limit that Weiss had displayed, and sighed in his heart for its power. It is extremely difficult to practice. Just getting started, he can't do it now. This is an extremely long span. According to Weiss' calculations, he needs to go to the Lord of the Universe to get started. Fortunately strong enough, he waited. As long as you get started, you have the hope of breaking through the second floor of the Pagoda of Nine Tribulations. Although it was very difficult to cultivate, it was powerful enough to make Jian Wushuang pay for it. Once he gets started, his combat power will soar rapidly. It's just that I can't help him now. It takes time to temper. On the way to the Gumu sect, Jian Wushuang did not practice either. He has reached the limit of emperor in all aspects now. The original starry sky has lit up tens of thousands of black holes. It's just a matter of condensing into a physical universe. He also asked Weiss about the original universe. According to what the other party said, 10,000 black holes are already complete. There is no pressure at all to become the master of the universe. Just wanting to cross the threshold of the robbery still has to make a lot of effort. Only by becoming a catastrophe can you control the universe. What Jian Wushuang lacks now is the opportunity of the robbery realm. The holy meeting is also coming. His time is running out. In silence, Wu Li's eyes changed and the sound transmission said, Jian Wushuang, do you have something on your mind? He was stunned for a moment, and then looked at Wu Ligong about to speak, only to realize that it was the sound transmission just now. Nothing. The sacred meeting is about to begin. What can be on your mind? Jian Wushuang answered through voice transmission. Mindful. Too much. It's just that this is not the time to think about this. He can no longer think about the ones that are not. Face the reality. There will be many 5 tribulations realm universe masters in this sacred meeting, all of whom are much stronger than Jian Wushuang. Still have to make good preparations. The details of Wu Li's plan have not yet been informed to him, and all these need to be negotiated. It's just that this place is not a place to talk about things. The two of them could only press and leave it alone, and smiled with Elder Mu Chen about the holy meeting. The purpose of this holy meeting report is very clear. Just for the saint candidate, all they have to do is to assist the Empress function to become a candidate for the saint. As long as you become a candidate, the rest will leave their business alone. At that time, it was also the time for Jian Wushuang and Wu Li to implement their plans. The saint of the ancient wood school, that needs to resonate with Wan Lushenmu. No one can help the Empress at this point. The 16 kingdoms, as well as the forces in some secret realms on the ancient wood continent, the masters of the 5 tribulations realm universe. There are at least several hundred. Only less than 100 are able to compete for the position of the saint. Among these 100 people, there are only a handful of consummation masters of the 5 tribulations realm. There are only 4 candidates. For candidates, fight for the position of the saint. This is the final battle. It has nothing to do with Jian Wushuang and the others, but taking this opportunity to sneak into the willows secretly, the relationship will be great. Not only will this congregation fail this time, it will also offend all parties. These are still trivial matters. I really went in, and when I came out, the things I had to face were terrible. The siege of countless strong men is not only as simple as robbing treasures. They will also investigate how they entered Wanlu. Yu reading www.akanshu.com. This is the most important. Wu Li said, "You can enter if you have the power of life." He didn't believe it at the time, and now it seems that he is indeed unreliable. Certainly a unique method is needed. He didn't know this, but Wu Li knew it. It's just that he is not easy to inquire. He could also see that Wu Li was not that simple. Fortunately, during this period of time, his combat power has improved by leaps and bounds. And Wu Li is definitely not his opponent even in the half-step 4 tribulations realm. Not afraid of what the other party will do. I was afraid that the other party would use him, and finally entered Wanlu by himself. This is what he has to worry about. Chapter 5798. Just as a few people were chatting, Empress Fengchen came to the hall of Zhangzhou. Everyone silenced and turned to look at the Empress. The Empress Fengchen glanced at the crowd, took her seat at the top, gently pressed her hand and said calmly, "You don't have to be restrained. This king has just received the evaluation criteria of this holy meeting. You can take it and watch it. Prepare in my heart." Half an hour later, we will discuss the tactics of this holy meeting. Jian Wushuang's eyes lit up, and several light beams flew towards the hands of the powerful. A scroll is wrapped in the beam. After unfolding, there are not only texts on the top, but also a demonstration of human shadows. Jian Wushuang, who looked at him, frowned. Ancient Wood Church. Assess the world. Infinite world, a big world southwest of Wanlu. The interior is extremely wide, much larger than the Stone Country. The new chapter of the Moon-Old Girlfriend of Hades evaluation criteria. The first 4 teams reached the finish line. It is victory. So simple. Jian Wushuang blurted out. As soon as this remark came out, many people who heard it rolled their eyes. Elder Mu Chen came out at this time and explained. Wushuang, you can't look at the surface and everything. You may not have heard of this infinite world. There are even the beasts of the 7 tribulations realm inside. And since the Gumu sect has set this rule, I'm afraid there will be many dangers along the way. Don't be careless. But what's the point of doing this? This sentence was a monologue in Jian Wushuang's heart. Did not say it. Wu Li saw it and added. The danger along the way is just 1 point. It's more chance. Moreover, according to the character of the Guma school, not all the rules are shown to us this time. There must be other things. The rules need to be informed after we arrive. Otherwise, if we know in advance, someone may prepare in advance. This remark made Jian Wushuang some recognition. Spanning the entire infinite world. The important thing is the process. It certainly won't be that simple. Jian Wushuang also started to look forward to it. Emperor, Lord of the Universe. Although the road is the same, the encounter is different. That's why there are places for emperors. Jian Wushuang had known this for a long time. Otherwise, let the emperor go, it is to die. The 3 great war boats lined up side by side, and soon left the territory of Vietnam. The female emperor was also at this time, beginning to explain the Guma school. Everyone listened carefully. Before entering the infinite world, we will be divided into 5 teams. After entering, we must gather at the 7th starting point as quickly as possible. Otherwise we will lose to other forces at the starting point. In order to cooperate with each other, you will divide the team by yourself. No pop-up window in mainland. As soon as the female emperor's voice fell, everyone began to look at each other. On Jian Wushuang's side, the team has taken shape. Headed by Elder Mu Chen, Wu Li Jiuhu, Jian Wushuang and Jin Chen. 2 emperors. 3.5 step 4 tribulation realm of the universe masters. Except for Jiuhu, the others are familiar with Jian Wushuang. Which 9 Tigers was a half-step 4 tribulation realm powerhouse that Wu Li wooed, and his strength was not weak. The rest will solve it by themselves. The female emperor is naturally the lord of the 4 tribulations realm universe, with the 2 royal clans. The rest was divided into 5 teams. Elder Mu Chen led 1. The Li family leads 1. A young prince from the Vietnamese royal family leads 1. Jin's latest chapter's Kinjiaman leads a team. The last is a team united by small families. The superficial tactics are just superficial division of labor. The real tactics may not be known until they enter the infinite world. They don't know much about the infinite world. But the empress must know more. Jian Wushuang also learned a lot about the infinite world from other populations. Start and end. According to what Jian Wushuang knew, at first they would be transported to the periphery of the infinite world at will, and they would need to set off on their own to the starting point of Hueha, and finally set off together. Then it's the end. Reaching the end means reaching the end of the infinite world. I'm really not a foodie. The latest chapter, it was already very close to Wanlu Shenmu. Only the top 4 teams are eligible to go to the periphery of Wanlu Shenmu. In other words, Jian Wushuang and Wu Li must help the female emperor win the top 4 position. Wu Li also glanced at Jian Wushuang at this time and nodded secretly. But there was a sneer in his heart. It was not Wu Li's voice, but a voice that existed in Wu Li's body for a long time. That was the chance existence of Wu Li becoming the Lord of the universe. When that voice sounded, Wu Li's expression remained unchanged, but from the bottom of his heart he said, "Teacher, is the end of the infinite world still far away from Wanlu?" "It's not far away. Even if your female emperor of Yu Kingdom can't become the top 4, I can take you to the periphery of Wanlu." Mysterious voice sounded in Wu Li's heart. The latest chapter of the time against the current Wu Li frowned, and then said, "Then this Jian Wushuang? Naturally kill chickens to get eggs." The war boat was faltering, and within a month, the 16 kingdoms came out of the grass. Further forward, there is boundless chaos. That is an unexplored world. The Guma school is among them. Before the distant age of the goddess, the entire ancient wood continent is chaotic. It was Shenmu King who led the strong and opened up the ancient wood sect Holy Land. Eventually evolved the 16 kingdoms of grass and the major secrets. At this time, the 16 kingdoms, as well as the teams from the major secret realms, came one after another. The immortal legend has no pop-up window. There is a momentum of 1,000 immortals coming to the dynasty. Shirgua's team is the largest. 100 masters of the universe have come. There are 3 masters of the universe in the 5 tribulations realm. There is also a daughter country. Although the Lord Yunji became the 7 tribulations realm, the daughter country would not be so arrogant that he would not participate in the holy meeting. There were also 2 5 tribulations realm universe masters coming. In the major eras, the daughter country has taken the position of the saint several times. This time I also have great confidence. Since Jian Wushuang had been to the daughter country, he had some understanding of the powerhouses in the daughter country. As far as he knows, this time the daughter country dispatched Gemini, 2 masters of the universe in the half-step 6 tribulations realm. The strength is only slightly weaker than Fengchen. It is the hot spot of this holy meeting. The 16 kingdoms, the eternal kingdom has been destroyed. Only 15 countries remain. Your country can't even enter the top 10. But it doesn't mean that the masters of the non-trivial universe of all forces are stronger than the female emperor. On the contrary, the strength of the Empress Fengchen can be ranked in the top 5 among the 16 countries. In this sacred assembly, among the hundreds of 5 tribulation realm cosmos masters, all can rank in the top 10. The specific number can be ranked. This needs to be verified in battle. Jian Wushuang was also evaluating his position. He doesn't care about the position of the saint, but he must help the Empress win the top 4. This is the bottom line. With his current combat power, he can indeed control the general battle situation. But if you have to deal with the masters of the universe in the half-step 6 tribulations realm, there is not much confidence. The strongest trump card, Star Catalog, he can master the 2 swords of life and death. It was already comparable to the Lord of the 5 tribulations realm universe. However, the Lord of the universe in the 5 tribulations realm has strengths and weaknesses. Chapter 5799. The powerful can burst out 800,000 supernatural powers. The weak can also explode 600,000 supernatural powers. It's all his extreme combat power. Fortunately, he was just an emperor on the surface, and no one would care about him by then. Once you make a move, You must take advantage of it and attack the vitals. On the deck of the warboat, the well-divided teams are all gathered together. Watch the scene in the chaotic airflow. The thunder flashes one after another, and the world seems to be gestating something. This is the wonder of everything. Jian Wushuang is quite familiar with this. The rest are in awe in their hearts. There are still 3 days away from the Gumma school. I still have something to prepare for my practice, so I want chat with you. Jihu finished speaking, clasped his fists and left. Jian Wushuang looked at the other side's back, to a place where there was no doubt. Brother Wu Li, the strength of this person is not easy. Elder Mu Chen narrowed his eyes slightly. He could see that the strong man named Nine Tigers possessed extremely strong divine power in his body. Once it breaks out, I am afraid it can rise to 400,000 supernatural powers. This is the pinnacle of the Lord of the Three Tribulations realm universe. No matter how high it is the strongest of the Four Tribulations realm. Wu Li said calmly. The strength of Brother Nine Tigers is indeed good. I once intercepted and killed a secret realm Tianjiao with him outside the territory, and that Tianjiao was still the Lord of the Four Tribulations realm universe. No wonder. Mu Chen nodded. Jian Wushuang's face was dark, and things like intercepting Tianjiao could all be said. And looking at Mu Chen's expression, there was no surprise. I'm afraid these two people did not do anything less. Of course, they all regard Jian Wushuang as their own, so there is nothing to hide. Unparalleled nephew. This time we enter the infinite world. We must be cautious of those strong in the secret realm. These people are very crazy. They are basically enemies of the 16 nations. They do not have a better training environment, so they have always been the grassy 16 kingdoms are eagerly watching. Elder Mu Chen reminded from the side. Jian Wushuang didn't speak, but just nodded. The other party's cheeks are too thick, and he has nothing to say. Most of the powerhouses in the secret realm were driven out of the 16 kingdoms. That's why it is hostile. As for the counterattack of the 16 nations, that would be somewhat impossible. The background of the 16 kingdoms is too strong. The battle power of the Lord of the Universe may be fairly equal on both sides. However, those who rob the strong must be the more powerful 16 kingdoms. The strong in the secret realm hasn't experienced too many times, and the foundation can't be compared with the 16 kingdoms, such as the 7-star sect. Among the 16 kingdoms, there are dozens of 7-star sections. However, there are no more than 10 7-star sects in the secret realm. This is the bottom line. And there has never been an 8 Tribulations realm powerhouse in the secret realm. These are incomparable. Jian Wushuang showed no mercy to these people, but he would not be hostile to them for no reason. This is to cause trouble for myself. But he could see the sense of superiority in the eyes of Elder Mu Chen and Wu Li. Is to disdain the strong in the secret territory. 3 days. Several people stood on the deck, and for a long time saw some war boats drifting by. All forces have gathered, about to arrive at Gumma school. Jian Wushuang also felt a long ancient breath in his heart. That is the breath that never appeared in Shigua. Wow! The high bow of the warship broke through the chaotic air current. The surrounding area is no longer covered by the yellow atmosphere. Instead it is full of greenery. What appeared before their eyes was a huge green world. The sky is blue, and the ground is green. Very fresh. If you don't know people, you think this place is a paradise. It is not. This place is very close to the Gumma school. It is a buffer zone facing the chaotic air current. On the seemingly plain grass, a huge pink behemoth suddenly sprang up. The body of this giant beast is extremely large, as long as thousands of miles. Countless sharp teeth keep spinning. After looking up at the war boat in the sky, he rushed underneath again. On the grass, only a few deep holes were left, and calm was restored again. Jian Wushuang was not surprised by this. These desolate beasts, with a high probability, ran out of the chaotic airflow. They would haunt here at best, and further on were the trump cards of the Ancient Wood School. No matter how powerful, touching the Ancient Wood faction is death. Unknowingly, tens of thousands of war boats gathered in the sky in all directions, covering the sky and the sun. For a time the black mist rolled. It's not like Wanxian came to the kingdom, but like the devil's army oppressing the realm. If someone said that the Gumu sect was a demon power, Jian Wushuang would believe it. Across countless spaces, Jian Wushuang saw an outline. The outline of a fangs and claws. The eyes of the beast turned, and Jian Wushuang saw a magnificent seam between his eyebrows. It is a huge tree branch spanning several worlds. It is comparable to the size of a country. The Guma school is located above. Rumor has it that this branch fell off from Wanlu. On this branch, whether it is to cultivate divine power, or to disperse and protect one's divine power, it has a great effect. On the war boat, many people came to the Gumu faction for the first time. All were shocked. Just as Jian Wushuang wanted to turn his head to talk to Elder Mu Chun and the others about this matter with the branches, he found that Princess Jin Chun, who was standing next to him, was looking at the opposite position. The brows were still frowning. Following her gaze, Jian Wushuang saw several familiar figures on the bow of the warship with the flag of the Menher Kingdom. In an inconspicuous position, there are also these emperors, Shi Jiao, and beside Shi Jiao, there was a young girl wearing a fiery red armor. Look at the clothes and the mark on the eyebrows. It should be a person from the Flame Kingdom. I really don't know this. But he could see that Jin Chun was very concerned about it. Don't look, him still panting. Jian Wushuang, Yin and Yang let out a strange cry. Jin Chun blinked and said, "Sometimes I think if you and I are really in one mind, maybe I will really forget him. Then you should think about him." Jian Wushuang rolled his eyes. Elder Mu Chun and Wu Li were a little embarrassed. But neither of them spoke, yet Wu Li knew Jian Wushuang. This time the two must run away. Elder Mu Chun didn't know. He thought the two were just bickering between husband and wife. "Thanks, Tusk, don't forget, you still owe me a favor," Jin Chun reminded. Jian Wushuang nodded and replied, "I haven't forgotten. If you want to use that favor, let me kill the descendant of the flame god. You can also discuss it." Back in the daughter country, the Lord Yunji helped him give him a token of the sword Immortal Tongha, which was naturally a great favor. It's just this kind of grace. I want him to return it to Jin Chun. If the other party really has any special needs, he doesn't mind the shot. After all, it will be difficult to see each other again in the future. I owe a lot of favors, and I can pay it back sooner. Chapter 5800. Jin Chun heard his speculation, took a deep breath, and decided to return to the cabin. She had been able to calmly communicate with Jian Wushuang a long time ago, but she found that Jian Wushuang had less and less taken her seriously. Looking at Jin Chun's exquisite back, Jian Wushuang sighed. Elder Mu Chun smiled and patted him on the shoulder and said, "Don't care too much about Wushuang's nephew. Jin Chun, a girl who has been spoiled since childhood, will get better." "I didn't mean that." Jian Wushuang shook his head. He didn't feel any dissatisfaction with Jin Chun's approach. On the contrary, he still wanted to quickly repay the favor debt. After the sacred meeting, the entire country of you will be implicated by him. If the Empress can become a saint, it will be easy. If you can't become a saint, I'm afraid it will be difficult to do in the future. Jian Wushuang was still a little guilty about this. Unlike Wu Li, even the family can shrink or even give up. Unfortunately, his purpose in Guyu's time has never been to gain a firm foothold. What he has to do is to become the Lord of the universe at an extremely fast speed, then go to find other people in 9 days and 10 places. Guiking's location is already known, but you can't go in a hurry. Fan Tianfeng was ready to return to Qi Temple in advance, and he couldn't rely on it anymore. Can only go to other people. Wu Zua had a good relationship with him, and he didn't know where the other party was. There are Zhen Wuyang, Tongtian Buddha, Dongxing and Wanyan. As for the others, if they can meet them, they can help. These people were all brought by him from Kashendian. The original intention of Zhen Ling was to send him out alone. One is optimistic about Jian Wushuang. Secondly, it is because of Jian Wushuang's fetters with Meisheng. Since you can't beat it, then avoid its edge first. Na Qingxiang finally left the top 10 inheritors at one time. Some of these people may have selfish motives. There is even a gap between Jian Wushuang and Jian Wushuang. But since they have been brought to Guyu time and space, they must be brought back in their entirety. And Hui Qing, even in the ancient moon ruins, They will tell the other party to rescue them. Tower of Nine Tribulations. It is his greatest confidence now. With the teachings of Weiss, as long as you practice the free extreme Gong to the realm of great achievement, he is basically invincible. What is the ancient moon ruins? That's just a place where the goddess sits. According to Weiss, the goddess is also his disciple. How could Jian Wushuang lose to a dead man? Go back alive. Kill life. Take back everything that belongs to the original universe. He will avenge the old man sheep's hatred. Jian Wushuang stood at the bow of the ship. His eyes looked like giants. Guma school is getting closer and closer. Countless warboats suddenly stopped. In the sky in front of them, barriers appeared. That is the formation of the Guma school. Wow. In the huge screen, a figure was revealed, and then his figure was revealed. A strong man in the Seven Tribulations realm. He is also the head of the contemporary Guma school. It's a coincidence. Jian Wushuang also knew each other. This Seven Tribulation realm powerhouse, who seemed to be from the ancient Wood school, actually took refuge in Emperor Babish sect. I don't know if Bobby D will come. Maybe I missed the chance here. Dear friends, please receive the magic weapon, and follow me into the ancient Wood Holy Land. The war boat disappeared into the sky instantly. Countless figures stood densely in the void. There are also several Seven Tribulation realm powerhouses. They were all scattered robbers, so naturally they couldn't see the holy meeting, they just came to watch. The master head teacher actually greeted me personally. It really made me wait for my face. Several Seven Tribulations realms stepped forward and exchanged a few words with the head teacher of the Gumu sect. They all set off and entered the ancient Wood Holy Land. The scenes are the same on both sides of the barrier, but the breath has undergone earth-shaking changes. Jian Wushuang, who entered it, felt a steady flow of life force in the branches. This branch comes from Wanlu. Nature contains great vitality. If it can be taken out, the value will be immeasurable. Unfortunately, I can't get it. If it can be taken out, Shenmu Wangya will not always show weakness. Jian Wushuang was still a little interested in which ancient Shenmu king, a strong king who once was in the Eight Tribulations realm. Although the rumors are not strong, but during the peak period, it was definitely much stronger than the current principle of the Eight Tribulations realm universe. After all, it is one of the oldest beings. I just don't know if I will have this opportunity to meet this time. Following the head of the Guma school, they entered a circular coliseum. The seats around are enough to hold hundreds of millions of people. When they entered this place, they were also separated in an orderly manner. Those who enter the central clearing are all candidates who will see the holy meeting this time. Enough 10,000 people. 70% of them turned out to be forces from secret realms. Only 30% are strong in the 16 countries. The Guma school is impartial to both parties. This also shows that in the backbone of the fighting force, the current 16 kingdoms is far inferior to the strong in the secret realm. Otherwise it will not be so much less. The two sides are also separated. The strong of the 16 countries stand on one side, and the strong on the secret realm stand on one side. Is this the beginning? Jian Wushuang was somewhat different. Feeling a bit hasty, at least entertain them. Turning his head and looking at the seats around, he has indeed begun to entertain those who watch the strong. As for them, they stood stupidly in the central clearing, waiting for their deaths. The head of the ancient Wood school, and the contemporary saint, seated side by side. Everyone, today the holy meeting is opened, and from this moment on, the rules will be known after you enter the infinite world. As soon as he raised his head, he issued countless tokens. It fell into the hands of the strong man who saw the holy meeting. Jian Wushuang also received a copy. This token is so useful that you can't lose it if you die. After everyone carefully collected them, they waited for the next arrangement. The contemporary saintess of Guma school is about to cross the seventh calamity at the peak of the sixth tribulations realm. The status is as high as Shirxiao and Shir Kingdom. Once successfully crossing the robbery, they are all leaders of their respective forces. She leaned slightly, looked at the people below, and said with an icy voice, "The ancient Wood sacred assembly now begins." Without saying a word, the surrounding barriers began to vibrate. Jian Wushuang stood there. His mind was filled with tremendous power, and his figure fell into the darkness unconsciously. Everyone in the field disappeared instantly, and then a piece of sky appeared in the blank field. Yu reading www.wumshu.com. The figure above shows everyone. For a time, many people stared at the figures they cared about. At the top of the viewing platform, there is a row of halls. Everyone sitting inside is a big man. The head teacher of the Gumma school has also entered here. Now there are more than 10 Seven Tribulation Realm powerhouses gathered here. But they are all scattered Tribulation powerhouses. None of the masters of the universe in the Seven Tribulations realm came. There was not much at all. They're all cultivating. It's like Sanji, there is no need for cultivation, so they are so idle. The Lord of the Universe in the Six Tribulations realm has come a lot. Among them is the Tongha Sword Fairy, who Jian Wushuang is familiar with. Chapter 5801. And the superpower of Shigua Xiu in the Seven Tribulations realm. There is also a star refiner known to Jian Wushuang. This is a big man, and in the entire hall, he has the highest status. Many people came forward to talk. Dear fellow Taoists, what do you think of the list of candidates this time? As soon as the head teacher of the Gu Mu sect raised his hand, a list floated in the air. The names of the 4 candidates also appeared above. The ancestor of the Seven Tribulations realm of Yu Kingdom, seeing that Feng Chun did not have the name of Feng Chun, looked a little ugly. But his strength and status were the bottom of these people, and he didn't say anything. It was a powerhouse from the Seven Tribulations realm of the Daughter Kingdom, and said, I was out of the list just at the beginning. Isn't it a bit anxious? Haha, there will be some discrepancies in this list, but the final candidates are probably these 4. This is a candidate selected by the Gumma faction based on intelligence. The position of the saint must be from the ancient Wood continent. That is the core of the future Gumma school. It must be cleared by the background. If the background is not clear, even if the strength is strong, the Gumma faction will deliberately make things difficult to leave. The currently filtered list. 3 of them are strong in the secret realm, and the strong in the 16 kingdoms are very dissatisfied. Of the 7 tribulation realm powerhouses here, only 3 came from the secret realm. 9 of them are all powerhouses of the 16 nations. The face of Gumma school's palm teacher remained unchanged, and he had nothing to do with it. This list was decided based on all the supreme elders in the Gummu sect. According to him, it is to suppress the 16 countries. Shigua has been very arrogant recently. In addition, the Kingdom of the Daughters has also produced a universe lord of the 7 tribulations realm. If this continues, this Gumma continent is not of the Gumma school. It's what those countries say, forget it. This is never allowed. If you can't suppress it face to face, then use resources. In fact, everything depends on the strength. The list does not explain the problem. Lianxing said indifferently at this time. The powerhouses of the 16 nations naturally hold together. In addition to the powerhouses of the 16 kingdoms and the secret realm, there are also some foreign powerhouses here. These powerhouses just watched indifferently without making a sound. There will be infighting everywhere. Hearing Star Refining speak, several 7 tribulations realm experts in the secret realm did not intend to refute. In fact, in terms of strength, the strong in the secret realm is more hopeful. Because this time too many powerful people were dispatched in the secret realm. The Lord of the Universe in the 5 tribulations realm is more than double that of the 16 kingdoms. How to compare? The final quota is a little more than the powerhouse of the secret realm. Senior Star Refining, does it have a promising team? The saint of the Gu Mu sect looked at refining stars and asked curiously. She saw that Lianxing had been staring at the sky, probably because she was optimistic about the team of a certain country. For example, Shigua. However, the strength of the 3-5 Tribulation Realm Universe Masters, currently dispatched by Shi Kingdom, was not outstanding in this conference. The combat power of a single body is not as good as Yugua. Hope it's much smaller. No, I'm just optimistic about someone. Lianxing shook his head and smiled. I heard that this time the Gu Mu sect has produced a lot of rare treasures in the Emperor's assessment. I wonder if there is such a thing. The head teacher of the Gumu sect was stunned for a moment, and then replied, there is such a thing. After all, the emperor is the hope for the future. And indeed he has taken out a lot of rare treasures that can make them quickly cross into the tribulation realm. With that said, the bottom of my heart was shocking Liangxing's intelligence. This matter was decided only yesterday. You will know it today by refining the stars. I'm afraid that in the current Guma school, someone has already started to stand in line. This is a terrible thing. The core of Guma school. It's the elders who are too supreme. They are all qualified experts in the seven tribulations realm. And although they are all scattered, the power of the ancient Wood sect is in the hands of these people. None of the head teachers of the Guma school are two elders. It is conceivable that it takes great credit to become the elders. And these elders did not jump out inexplicably. These powerhouses are the foundation left over from the accumulation of tens of thousands of times by the Gumu sect. If you continue to pursue it, these powerhouses will all come from 16 countries. This is a terrible thing. Don't look at the apparent suppression of the 16 nations. But once something goes wrong, something that has just been set here will be secretly passed back to the 16 nations. The strong in the secret realm want to stand up, how easy it is. The head teacher of the Guma school knew this well. But his heart is no longer on the Guma school. He is now Bobby's. Since learning that Dylan had cultivated the method created by Emperor Bobby, and had reached the level of the seven tribulations, he couldn't restrain the excitement in his heart. Maybe he can really break through again, and become a strong person in the eight tribulations realm. Compared with the combat power of the eight tribulations realm, the headmaster of the Guma school is a fart. Nothing counts. A half-dead eight tribulations realm can control the entire Gumu sect. If he cultivates the method of Emperor Bobby and becomes a powerful person in the eight tribulations realm, he is only weaker than the Lord of the Universe and stronger than the Shinmu King. After chatting for a while, these super beings took their seats and began to watch the powerful men in the sky. Following the eyes of these people, I saw the scene in the sky. Tens of thousands of powerful people have entered the world of infinity. If you are lucky, you are the closest to the starting point, and those with bad luck have even directly entered some forbidden areas, fighting against those deserts. Among them, there is Jian Wushuang, the infinite world. The whole world is an undeveloped savage world. A grass is a towering giant tree. A grain of dust is a magnificent mountain. The luck of Jian Wushuang and others was so bad that they arrived at a forbidden area as soon as they entered. A special being of the four tribulations realm level is still being held here. This special life is silver in its entire body, and its flesh is like iron. The explosion of divine power is endless. A few people can only flee. Although Jian Wushuang had the strength to solve this barren beast, there was no need to reveal his strength too early. Now it has just begun. At least after the official starting point, it will not be too late to break out. And in the forbidden area, Yu reading www.Akanshu, there is no treasure apart from that special life on calm, and fighting has no meaning. He is not nervous, but the rest are nervous. Brother Wuli, you take Wushuang and Jinshin first. Brother Jiuhu and I are dragging this special life. After a stick of incense, we will reconcile in a canyon in the southeast, and then head to the beginning of the infinite world. As the team leader, Elder Muchen quickly arranged a tactical plan. Naturally, we must first save the two emperors, and then leave behind. If Jiuhu were to take the two emperors to go first, then he would not be relieved. He took the initiative to pull the 9 tigers to stay, and they broke off together. Wuli glanced back and said, "Be careful at my speed. You can get a distance without a stick of incense." Elder Muchen burst into a green arrogance. Chapter 5802. The 9 tigers on the side didn't say much. He was a thug, and now when he didn't make a move, he roared and rushed directly. The silver giant, holding an ancient wooden foot, exploded with a sky-shaking aura. 2 half-step 4 tribulations realm masters of the universe. It is not too difficult to stop a special being from 4 tribulations realm. Special beings are not like the masters of the universe, but they are much stronger than those of the same rank. 2 half-step four-tribulation realm cosmos masters are equivalent to 2 four-tribulation realm dispersal tribulation, and the 2 join hands with each other to a special four-tribulation realm being. You can fight and you can escape. There are no 2 oil bottles, Jian Wushuang and Jinshin. There is no scruples. Boom! 9 tigers burst out with all their strength, and with a fist, he blasted the special life back millions of miles, then turned his head and said to Elder Mu Chen, "Let's go. It's been almost a stick of incense, and there is no need to fight anymore." Elder Mu Chen nodded and turned around to drive away. That special life has self-consciousness, and naturally will not let the prey escape, and immediately catches up with the explosive speed. Elder Mu Chen sneered. With one hand, the towering giant tree on the ground instantly turned into a sharp sword, and when he raised his hand, he rushed directly to the special life. The silver giant's face was savage, and he smashed the sharp blade with just one stop. "It's also difficult." Mu Chen frowned. His speed weakened slightly, and a huge purple vine appeared behind him, and then wrapped his whole body. When Jihu saw it, his eyes lit up. The next moment, Elder Mu Chen stopped his figure suddenly and reminded him, "You go to the Wu Li Hui Hui first, and I will hold it." Okay. Jihu did not hesitate. His speed exploded again, and he disappeared into the sky in an instant, leaving Elder Mu Chen alone. Elder Mu Chen grinned, facing the silver giant rushing crazily. Only one hand withstood the opponent's impact. The purple vines on his body followed his palm and instantly spread to the silver giant. The vines continued to expand, directly enclosing the silver giant. It's a pity that the vine wraps Elder Mu Chen, and that is the battle armor. Wrapped in the silver giant, that is a deadly magic weapon. Let you beasts look at what is the treasure of the acquired universe. Elder Mu Chen stretched out his hands, and then slammed together, and the silver giant was directly strangled and deformed. Elder Mu Chen clenched his fists with both hands, and the divine power on his body merged with the divine power of the vines, causing his divine power to skyrocket from about 400,000 to 450,000, which was already equal to this special life in the Four Tribulations realm. More powerful than many of the 4 scattered robbers. Ah! The terrifying red aura continued to erupt, and Elder Mu Chen yelled. After his divine power was completely stabilized, he rushed towards the bound silver giant, and his body was sunken with a punch, and his divine power continued to decline. One punch can hurt this special life. If you really fight to the death, I am afraid this special life is far from the opponent of Elder Mu Chen. At this time on the audience stage, because the assessment has not yet reached the starting point, the assessment is not officially started, so many strong people look a little listless. But seeing the sudden outbreak of Elder Mu Chen, one after another cheered up. Unexpectedly shocked vines. This Yu Kingdom Mu Chen has reached the level of a real Four Tribulation realm powerhouse. It's not a loss from the royal family of you. If I can get this frightening vine, I can also burst out of this kind of combat power. Many people showed envious expressions of the horrified vines on Mu Chen, especially the strong in the secret realm. Their resources are scarce. At this time, I saw a strong man from the Yu royal family who had scary vines, and I was very jealous. It's his now, but not necessarily in the future. There is a superpower in my giant sea secret realm near him. A strong man in the secret realm, Yin Yang Wei Dao. It caused a lot of dissatisfaction among the powers of the 16 countries. But dissatisfaction goes to dissatisfaction. The facts are true. In the battle, the Elder Mu Chen made a fierce and decisive move, and the silver giant he fought in defeat steadily. Divine power has dropped to about 400,000. If you really want to continue the fight, it is very likely that Mu Chen will be beheaded. This special life is not stupid. It can't take advantage of it, so it can only take the initiative to retreat. Had it not been for the task, Elder Mu Chen would not be willing to let him leave. A beast is a beast. Elder Mu Chen sneered and took the frightened vines. Just about to turn around and leave, he found several breaths coming in his direction. Mu Chen looked shocked. With a breath, He is the master of the universe in the four tribulations realm. There are also two masters of the universe in the three tribulations realm. Divine power is around 350,000. The master of the universe in the four tribulations realm possesses 500,000 divine powers. Encounter is by no means an opponent. Go! Mu Chen first hit his breath, then burst out at the fastest speed, rushing to the meeting place. But he had just left, and the three breaths had already arrived. The breath gathered, three burly figures stood in the air. The headed one was wolf-headed, and the other two were almost the same, with the dense blue hair on their bodies, dancing with the wind. Thanks. It seems that he is a strong man in the Yu Kingdom. He has a frightening vine. The wolf-head strong man headed by him is a strong man in the four tribulations realm. But he was very interested in the shock vines on Mu Chen. Because of these treasures, there are almost no masters of the four tribulations realm universe in the secret realm. If he can get it, this holy meeting will not come in vain. The treasures of the holy meeting need to be robbed. Even if you enter the core of the infinite world, the chance of encountering treasures is very small. If you want to it, you are the master of the five tribulations realm universe. That has to do with them, the four tribulations realm powerhouses. It is more reliable to grab the treasures of the other strong men. The fight in the holy meeting is disorderly. The forces behind it cannot be controlled at all. That's why these three powerhouses dare to chase after Elder Mu Chen unscrupulously. Catch him. Yes. The three breaths tore through the sky, and soon caught up with Elder Mu Chen. Feeling the breath approaching, Elder Mu Chen had no choice but to stop his figure. At the same time, it was still transmitting to Jian Wushuang and others. Yu reading www.akanshu.com calculating his own combat power, and the combat power of his companions. Can you cope? This time they were really unlucky. First, I encountered a special life in the four tribulations realm, and now I encountered a strong man in the mysterious realm. If it is the powerhouse of the 16 nations, it's okay to say that if you can't see you with your head down, you won't make a move at this time. But it happened that he encountered the strong in the secret realm, and looking at the other person's appearance, my heart sank. Serious secret realm. After seeing the identity of the other party, Elder Mu Chen informed Wu Li of the news for the first time. Wu Li, who had already escaped from this place, led Jian Wushuang and the others to a valley, and was still waiting for the arrival of Elder Mu Chen. End of this chapter. Chapter 5803. Unexpectedly, but received a more difficult news. What to do? Wu Li frowned. Jian Wushuang also shook his head secretly after learning about it. Now is not the time to shoot. The base camp that hasn't reached the starting point. Take action now. Either handle it cleanly without revealing its strength, or give up Elder Mu Chen. After thinking about it, Elder Mu Chen was pretty good to him. So just giving up like this is really unreasonable. But their current encounter is not a real exploration of mystery. It's in the appraisal world of the sacred congregation. Countless pairs of eyes from the outside world are staring at it. The emperor must be saved. What are you still hesitating? Princess Jinchen was a little anxious. Even if Jian Wushuang is an emperor, why are the two half-step four tribulation realm cosmos masters still hesitating here? Wu Li heard the words and said embarrassingly, His Royal Highness, things are not that simple. The other party is a wolf king in the secret realm of Sirius, the master of the universe of the four tribulations realm, with a divine power of up to 500,000. All of us together are not opponents, and the other party not just one person. There are also two masters of the universe with 350,000 supernatural powers. They rushed forward. Not only would they not be able to help Brother Mu Chen, but they would also distract Brother Mu Chen. Sanjiu is right. Jinchen can't mess with this matter. Jian Wushuang also expressed comfort. Jihu is a thug. Naturally he doesn't care. It's best not to go. The Princess Jinchen didn't care about this. She directly took out the communication token and began to transmit the message to the Empress. Seeing this, several people quickly stopped. His Royal Highness, it's not that we don't want to save it. There is no need to trouble your majesty, her old man. Wu Li could only relax when he saw this. He knew that Jian Wushuang's strength was not weak. His supernatural power was at least 400,000. There is also Jiahu. His strength is more than 400,000. Coupled with himself, it is possible to fight. It's just that they are all gone. What about Princess Jinshin? All three have the same idea. Jian Wushuang broke the deadlock at this time and said, "Why don't I go with Senior Jiahu? Although my supernatural power is not good, I have confidence in speed. That's the only way." Wu Li was planning to take Jiahu with him, but he didn't expect Jian Wushuang to take the initiative to stop it. The main reason why Jian Wushuang is so big is because he is afraid of delaying time. When the time comes, a few people will go together, and they may not know what will happen. It's better for him to take Jiahu. Jian Wushuang's aura rose and said calmly, "Senior 9 tigers, let's go." Boom. The two rose directly into the sky and walked in the direction they had just arrived. After just a few breaths, he felt the huge movement in the sky ahead. The entire sky was torn apart, and in the dark cracks, the ground that was blown by the harsh wind changed color. "Elder Muchin, here we are." Ha! Jian Wushuang and 9 tigers arrived almost at the same time, directly blocking the two masters of the universe in the three tribulations realm. "It's them." Jihu saw these three powerhouses, his eyes changed. Several powerhouses in the Sirius secret realm also recognized the 9 tigers. Speaking of it, 9 tigers also came from a secret realm, but they were not in Gumu continent. He also knew these powerhouses in the Sirius secret realm. Looking at the wolf, "I didn't expect you to come to see the holy meeting." 9 tigers punched and directly blasted a master of the universe from the three tribulations realm, and then went to Elder Mu Chen's side, and jointly resisted which one of the 4 tribulations realm. The strong, greedy wolf is the master of the universe in the 4 tribulations realm, with a full 500,000 divine power, and Aoli Zukong's shots are extremely cruel. 9 tigers, you would actually seek refuge in your country. I really didn't expect it. Greedy wolf replied coldly. Elder Muchin saw that the two sides knew each other and said, "This fellow Taoist, who has not yet arrived at the base camp of departure, it is better for us to retreat separately and let the past go for nothing. At this time, you can fight without fighting. Otherwise, it is them who suffer." Haha, I didn't see the 9 tigers. If you said that, I might give you a face to the country, but now, it's impossible. Greedy wolf turned his head and ordered to the 2 men, "You two live the kid with the sword, and leave the rest to me." Although Jian Wushuang's breath erupted, others could only see that his divine power was not weak as the lord of the 3 tribulations realm universe. So Greed Wolf regarded him as the lord of the universe, and didn't know that he was an emperor. When Elder Muchin saw this, he reminded, "Unparalleled nephew, if you lose, you can retreat first. These beasts can't threaten me." "Then stop talking nonsense." Greedy Wolf stretched out his claws and attacked directly. 9 tigers and Elder Muchin shouted at the same time, and greeted them together. In fact, the words of Elder Muchin just now were also kind. He is aware of Jian Wushuang's combat power. But Jihu didn't know. "I just knew that Jian Wushuang might be the strongest emperor in Gumu continent, comparable to the Lord of the Universe. He was ready to rescue Jian Wushuang at any time." When fighting against Greedy Wolf, his eyes kept staring at Jian Wushuang's safety. Those are the 2 masters of the universe with 350,000 supernatural powers. Standing in the void, Jian Wushuang slowly raised his hand to hold the sword of myriad tribulations behind him. At this moment, the void was trembling. The battle group next to it all slowed down. Even if Elder Muchin knew that Jian Wushuang was very powerful, he couldn't help but marvel at this moment. 9 tigers and Greed Wolf were even stunned on the spot, forgetting that they were still fighting. It was really the moment Jian Wushuang drew his sword, the shock was too great. In the holy land of the Guma school, watching Jian Wushuang's several powerhouses, they were very calm. He was a little uncomfortable after refining the stars. He didn't expect Jian Wushuang to use the sword of 10,000 tribulations so quickly. That is a sword blank that is stronger than a god rank sword blank. to kill 2 werewolves with a supernatural power of about 350,000. Still use the Sword of Myriad Tribulations? Among the puppets that Jian Wushuang defeated at the beginning, the weakest were the puppets with 500,000 supernatural powers. Jian Wushuang could kill any cosmic master in the 4 tribulations realm at will. To deal with the 2 masters of the universe in the 3 tribulations realm, using the sword of 10,000 tribulations is indeed a little overkill. Jian Wushuang didn't care about it. Myriad Tribulation Sword has not drunk blood yet. This is also an opportunity. 2 powerful men with 350,000 supernatural powers gave him the edge of the Sword of Myriad Tribulations, which can be regarded as worthy of each other. In the trembling void, the 2 wolf-head powerhouses still don't know what kind of powerhouse they are facing. Thanks, stinky kid. One of them, a wolf-head strong man with red hair on his neck, suddenly shot a pair of sharp claws, tore directly towards Jian Wushuang's face. At this moment, Jian Wushuang directly drew out the Sword of 10,000 Tribulations and slashed it casually. The whole void fell silent. The powerful werewolf with red hair didn't feel the power of the Sword of Myriad Tribulations, so his eyes lost their color. Fold. Greedy wolf's eyes changed drastically. Jian Wushuang's strength was stronger than he imagined. One sword killed a strong man with 350,000 supernatural powers. Chapter 5804. Even he can't do it. This time, I was planning to the opponent's treasure, but one of my own fell away first. What kind of thing is it? The other master of the 3 tribulations realm universe hadn't reacted yet, standing still, and didn't know what had happened. However, Jian Wushuang made a sword again. Greedy wolf reacted this time. His body disappeared instantly, and then when he reached a companion, he had no time to pull him, so he could only kick his men out of the range of the sword with one kick. It's useless to just avoid it. What's more, how could Jian Wushuang's sword be so slow? Jianing turned around, and still cut to the neck of the Lord of the 3 tribulations realm universe. Feng Ho with a sword. The gorgeous bloodline burst instantly. You! Greedy wolf was completely angry, ready to attack Jian Wushuang. Elder Mu Chen and Jihu also reacted, and went directly to Jian Wushuang's side, and the 3 of them faced Greed Wolf together. With 2 swords, 2 masters of the 3 tribulations realm universe were beheaded, and it hasn't revealed the true power. This made Greedy Wolf a little bit unable to see Jian Wushuang. Mu Chen's divine power is more than 400,000, and Jihu is about the same. It's just that there is no special treasure like the horror vine. Now add Jian Wushuang. Greedy wolves didn't dare to fall in love with him, even if he still had a backhand. Just like what Elder Mu Chen said, the true starting point has not yet been reached. Why is it so laborious? If you are lucky this time. Greedy wolf snorted coldly, turned and left directly. Jian Wushuang and others naturally did not chase. Since then, the Sirius secret realm has lost 2 powerhouses. But this loss is not too great. The cruelty is still to come. It's just a little trouble now. After solving the predicament, Elder Mu Chen breathed a sigh of relief. Unparalleled nephew, your strength seems to have risen a lot. Mu Chen's eyes were a little envious. An emperor so powerful. As long as you become the realm of tribulation, you do not need to suppress the realm. You can cross the 3 tribulations and become the Lord of the universe. Even cross the 4 tribulations. In all ages, there is no shortage of such super talents. There are those who have crossed the 5 tribulations in a row, and which rumored emperor is not as good as Jian Wushuang compared to Jian Wushuang. If Jian Wushuang's sacred meeting ends this time, he will get enough treasures to break through the robbery realm. It is time to witness a wave of history. Jian Wu's double-faced color remained unchanged, and he said calmly, "Let's leave as soon as possible. This place is still some distance away from the starting point of the infinite world, so no more time can be wasted." The 3 walked towards the valley where Wu Li was. Calm here is also restored. Outside world, there are still many strong men watching this battle. It was discovered that Jian Wushuang had killed the 3 tribulations universe masters in a straightforward manner, and both began investigating Jian Wushuang's identity. What? He is still an emperor? Many people can't help but exclaim. An emperor kills the two masters of the universe in seconds. This kind of thing is just like the legend. Today they actually let them see it with their own eyes. Haha, our 16 kingdoms Tianjiao. Each is like this. Just ask you if you are afraid. A robbery expert, deliberately stimulating those secret realm experts loudly. The strong from all sides were also divided into two groups. Only the strong of the Gumu school watched indifferently. They knew about Jian Wushuang's strength a long time ago. But he hasn't stretched out his olive branch to recruit Jian Wushuang. This time is an opportunity, of course, to wait for Jian Wushuang to come out alive. The edge of an infinite world, an entire mountain range, has become a natural barrier for the infinite world. Jian Wushuang and others will make peace with Wu Li. He began to rush on his way. And now he has reached the edge of the mountain range. It is very close to the assembly place. On the way, they are equally unlucky. I have encountered a lot of desolate beasts at the tribulation realm level. Fortunately, they are not strong, with only 200,000 or 300,000 divine powers, and they can kill them at will. Just when the group of them was about to leave the mountain range, the token on Jin Chen's body changed. Special mission? Wu Li and Elder Mu Chen spoke in unison. Jian Wushuang looked at the two in confusion, not knowing what had happened. At this time, Ji Hu on the side said, "It seems that our luck is better. I didn't expect to receive a special mission from the Gumu faction before reaching the depths of the infinite world. Unfortunately, it's just a special task for the Emperor, and I don't know what rewards will be." Elder Mu Chen is still a little regretful. If the Lord of the Universe receives the special task, it will make a lot of money. Wu Li hurriedly reminded Jin Chen. His Royal Highness, look at the task of a few stars. 5. Jin Chen was also a little confused about this, and a little surprised why several people were so surprised. Hearing that it was 5 stars, several people were completely stunned. Wu Li couldn't restrain his excitement. This time we are really lucky. Even if it is the special mission of the Emperor, he can have 5 stars. The treasures obtained are absolutely extraordinary, and there is a possibility that there will be advance plans. Advance map, what is that? Jian Wushuang grasped the point and finally inserted a sentence. At this time, Elder Mu Chen told him and Jin Chen about some strange assessments in the holy meeting. The tokens issued to them were not used for voice transmission. The biggest use is to issue tasks. What is sent to the Emperor is the task of the Emperor, which can only be completed by the Emperor. Then the mission is divided into 6 stars in total. For the 6-star mission, there is only one in the entire assessment. The reward is also the biggest. Not only can you get some rare treasures, you can also get advance maps. The advance map represents the map route of the world they are in. The marked routes are generally safe routes. With a safe route, they can reach the end as quickly as possible. The 6-star special mission must explode the advance map. For the 5-star special mission, there is only a 50% chance that the advance map will be released. Tasks are also divided into types. Special tasks are released to individuals, and you can also bring your companions to explore together. Group quests www.akanshu.com are generally randomly distributed to the strong in a certain area, and they can all receive quests. However, group tasks are too risky. There are at least thousands of strong people in a region. Thousands of people gathered together to fight together. That probability is too small. Special tasks only known to them are almost certain to be won. Since it's so important, it's better to inform. Princess Jin Chen was interrupted by Jian Wushuang next to her before she finished her words. No, since it is the special task of the Emperor, we can solve it by ourselves. It is useless to make your majesty. On the contrary, it will be stunned. Now your majesty and the others should have arrived at the assembly place, where there are many people. If your majesty rushes out, it will definitely be. Being stared at is not worth the loss. Elder Mu Chen nodded and agreed. Wushuang-yi nephew is right. You must not inform your majesty. Since it is the special task of the Emperor, you and Wushuang should be able to complete it. Chapter 5805. Haha, for Wushuang, it must be easy. Wu Li and Juhu both smiled. 5 stars. It's very difficult. That's for other people. For Jian Wushuang, it was equal to no difficulty. Look at the detailed content of the mission. We must be fast, not to make people doubt it. Jin Chen took out the token, took a closer look and replied. In the southwest, you can fly in about a quarter of an hour, and there will be more hints when you get there. That's it, the 5-star mission is really extraordinary. Set off. The 5 changed directions, originally heading north. Now heading to the southwest, flying fast. At this time, there are not many teams in the mountains, and most of them have arrived at the assembly point. My hip flask can repair immortals without pop-up windows. Even the fast ones have entered the periphery of the infinite world. Jian Wushuang and the others were too bad luck. Otherwise they would be able to set off early. It's just that they didn't expect that there is still a team, which is also very unlucky. Before entering the infinite world, the 2 masters of the universe have fallen. Nowadays a lot of people are behind, only to reach the edge of the mountain range. Several figures also appeared in the sky near the mountains. One of them was a burly man with long hair on the temples. His eyes were like torches. He stared at the auras in front of him and said in surprise, "These auras, how do you move towards? Run in the opposite direction of the assembly location?" A blue-haired wolf leader in the team asked in surprise. So familiar. Is it a team from Vietnam? Your script is really good-looking, no pop-up window. Is that to make you lose the Vietnamese team of 2 wolf monarchs? The burly man said coldly. I don't think their strength is very good. It's time to reflect on the greedy wolf. Greedy wolf's eyes are blood red. Not because of hatred for Yu Gua, but because of the words of a burly man who made him very uncomfortable. Although they are all powerhouses in the Serious Secret Realm, but the Serious Secret Realm has 2 5 Tribulations Realm Masters of the Universe, and both have seen this holy meeting. Both of them are also their masters. It's just that the people in his belt have fallen, and they happened to meet each other again, and they walked with each other. Kuei Lang, you should pay attention to their whereabouts. That direction is the southwest, not the direction of the assembly point. Now that many teams have assembled at the assembly point, they have started to set off. They are heading southwest at this time. They must be picking up. When it comes to the mission, we can come to a mantis to catch the cicada. Greedy Wolf is not as strong as Kuei Lang, but his brain is much more flexible than the opponent. Cannon Fodder just wants to cultivate immortals without pop-up windows. If Kuei Lang had encountered Jian Wushuang earlier, he would not retreat at all. He would definitely have to fight a battle. The other party is a famous lunatic. Few people dare to provoke him in the Serious Secret Realm. Kuei Lang touched his temples and laughed. You are still useful, so what are we waiting for? Follow up. Wait a second, follow up now. They are likely to leave if they are found. Greedy Wolf quickly stopped everyone. A group of 6 people. They were all Kuei Lang people, so they didn't listen to his persuasion at all. Fearful of hands and feet. Even if it's a special task, you must pay a price if you dare to kill my Serious Clan powerhouse. Kuei Lang, no matter how many, directly led people to chase him. Greedy Wolf cursed secretly in his heart. If it were not for the same clan, he would be like a strong man who joined forces with Yuegua and killed Kuei Lang. Start with the latest chapter of 100 years. The brain is too stupid. Such a missed thing must be straightforward. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang and the others were fast enough, and it would take time for Kuei Lang and others to catch up. At this time, Emperor Jian Wushuang and others had arrived at the mission location. Call. The cold wind howled. In the mountains in the southwest, there is snow all year round, and the temperature is extremely low. After a few people looked around, they didn't find anything, and they fell directly to the ground. Ding! Jin Chen's token changed again, and several people gathered around at the same time. Enter Snow Shadow Mountain. Everyone was taken aback. Snow Shadow Mountain? The mountains here stretch to nowhere. Where can I find them? World of Royal Beasts. Starting contract. Just when they were at a loss, a strong wind rose suddenly. The wind and snow blew to everyone in an instant. Jian Wushuang raised his hand to block Hanxue. squinting to look forward. Where? He pointed out with his finger. Everyone looked at it together. It was the place where the wind and snow hit. A dark hole. I don't know when, the word shuaying appeared above. Wu Shuang's sage nephew. You take Princess Jin Chun to go. We are here to protect the law for you. Elder Mu Chun began to arrange some simple formations in order to be in need. Jian Wushuang nodded. His divine power spread out and directly wrapped Princess Jin Chun, rushing towards the entrance of Shuaying Mountain. That wind and snow force is extremely powerful. By you of the past, no pop-up window ordinary emperors can't get in. Just to enter Shuaying Mountain, you need 200,000 divine power. Had it not been for his divine power to envelop Jin Chun, the opponent would have been blown out a long time ago. Go straight in. Jian Wushuang turned his head to look at Jin Chun and asked if he had any other explanations. Jin Chun didn't speak, but just nodded. Jian Wushuang didn't hesitate either and led her directly into the dark hole. Just before he entered the entrance of the cave, he felt a dangerous breath coming from a distance. But at this time, he had reached the edge, and he couldn't stop, so he could only send a message to Wu Li in a hurry to make them be careful. There are strong people approaching them. The task must be completed quickly. Back to the 90s as a dad's works catalog, he was really worried about Wu Li's fall. Without Wu Li, he couldn't even find Wan Lu, let alone go in. After pulling Jin Chun into the Shuaying cave, the wildness disappeared. Ding! The token rang again. Kill the Snow Shadow Demon King. The content is simple and rude. Jian Wushuang is even more so. As soon as he entered the cave, he found several snow monsters, none of them weak. Both have a supernatural power of about 200,000. The average emperor really couldn't deal with it. But for Jian Wushuang, just the appearance of the sword aura could kill these snow monsters instantly. He didn't dare to drag the mud and water, leading Jin Chun to kill the snow monster all the way, and entered the depths of Shuaying Mountain. At this time, outside Shuaying Mountain, before Wu Li received Jian Wushuang's transmission, she frowned, because he found someone rushing here, and more than one. There are 7 strong people. The weakest have 400,000 supernatural powers. Among them are 2 strong men with more than 500,000 supernatural powers. It must be the master of the universe in the 4 tribulations realm. When he received Jian Wushuang's transmission, he was stunned. It was not an accident to those strong. It was an accident to Jian Wushuang. The news that the strong came was informed by the existence in his body, but Jian Wushuang actually knew about it. This shocked him extremely. The existence in his body is incredible. Now he didn't have much time to think about it, and he quickly reminded Mu Chun and 9 tigers to prepare for battle. The next moment, a row of figures appeared above their heads. Legacy. Kuei Lang. It's over. People have entered a state of despair, and the enemy in front of them is far beyond their ability to contend. Chapter 5806. Jihu took 2 steps back and was ready to escape. The master of the 2 great 4 tribulation realms universe. The cunning wolf has a supernatural power of 500,000. The mighty Kuelong has a supernatural power of 530,000. How do they fight? Hurry up and inform you the female emperor. Jihu shouted anxiously. The moment Elder Mu Chun saw this, he had already sent out the message. The empress quickly responded. The patriarch of the Li family, with 2 powerful 4 tribulation realms from the royal family, was able to come soon. They only need to withstand an hour. An hour. At this time, you can prepare funerals for them. Mu Chun knew this too, but there was no other way. Can only hold on. How long does it take? Wu Li frowned and asked. Elder Mu Chun did not speak. This time is too long, and it makes people desperate to say it. He has already begun to prepare for the funeral, that is, desperately blocking it. At the same time, pray that Jian Wushuang will encounter trouble in Shuaying Mountain, and wait an hour before coming out. At that time, you will be able to bring the task rewards to the assembly location to reconcile with the Empress. This is the best plan. Just the 3 of them. It is impossible to block these people. Greedy Wolf glanced at the 3 people below, and then saw Shuaying Cave. Without saying a word, he rushed directly to the cave. But as soon as he reached the entrance of the cave, the barrier was blocked. Can't get in. Greedy Wolf was a little surprised. The breath he felt at the beginning was only 4 people. Because Jin Chen's strength was too weak, Jian Wushuang wrapped her with divine power when he was on the way. So he was not discovered by Greed Wolf. The Greedy Wolf who had just arrived saw only 3 people. The kid with the sword is gone. He thought Jian Wushuang had gone in alone. If this is the case, then this place is the special task of the Lord of the Universe. According to common sense, they can all enter. But he can't get in now. I understood in an instant. No wonder they are waiting at the entrance of the cave. The kid carrying the sword is the emperor. Greedy's eyes shrank, thinking of the rumors some time ago. A great emperor appeared in the Yu Kingdom, capable of bursting out of 200,000 divine powers. It now seems not only true, but also stronger than rumors. Mu Chen sneered and said, "You have discovered this. If this is the case, then you all have to die." Greedy Wolf shouted angrily and wanted to make a move. At this moment, Kuei Lang stood up and stopped Greed Wolf. "Don't worry, no matter who enters, the treasures I can't bring out will belong to Kuei Lang, and your prey will also belong to me. Who dares to intervene? Don't blame me, you're welcome." Jihu was so scared that he didn't dare to move. Facing a strong man far surpassing himself, he has no confidence at all. Even if it was Kuei Lang alone, the 3 of them could not hold a stick of incense together. When Greedy Wolf heard it, he said angrily, "Kuei Lang, it's not time to play. Hurry up and solve them. They must have a helping hand to rush toward this side. Can't be careless." If you are afraid, you can leave at any time," Kuei Lang said disdainfully. "Little Yu Kingdom is the lord of the 5 tribulations realm universe, and the remaining 4 tribulations realm cosmos lord is not as strong as me. How many do I kill?" The arrogant Kuei Lang didn't put Yu Gua in his eyes at all. Greedy Wolf alone helpless. In his heart, he secretly scolded the other party for his stupidity. Click. Kuei Lang, who moved his wrist for a while, said calmly, "You 3 will play with me first." Elder Mu Chun made a color toward Wu Li, and the 2 of them instantly understood. The 2 of them still have some whole cards. Not to mention the secrets of Wu Li. As for Elder Mu Chen's trump card, the Horror Vine alone can raise his divine power to 450,000. Wu Li also had some backups, and he really wanted to take it out, even stronger than Elder Mu Chen. 2 people together may not be able to resist an hour. The premise is that the Greedy Wolf will not end. As long as no one intervenes, they can resist. There are also 9 tigers, and the opponent's strength is also not tolerated. With 400,000 supernatural powers, make good use of it. The 3 still have hope of survival. It's just that they were afraid that Jian Wushuang would come out suddenly, and when the time came, the other party had no plans to play anymore, so they would be cut off directly. That would be troublesome. Now I just hope Jian Wushuang can slow down. Inside Snow Shadow Mountain, Jian Wushuang strangled the snow monster all the way, reaching the deepest point. He just wants to get out quickly now. The blood monsters encountered on the road are getting stronger and stronger. After reaching the deepest point, ordinary snow monsters already have a supernatural power of 250,000. And in the depths, the breath of the snow monster Demon King had already appeared. The supernatural power is as high as 300,000. It's a pity that the other party was instantly shattered by Jian Qi before he saw his face. This way, Jin Chen was stunned. Those snow monsters either side, she is not an opponent. But under the sword without hands, it is like an ant, which can be slashed at will. Looking up at Jian Wushuang's stern face, Jin Chen also had a touch of emotion in his heart. It's not an emotional touch. It's the kind of worship for the strong. In the same order, no one dared to be called the arrogant before Jian Wushuang. No one has this qualification. Perhaps her mother's queen was right when she met Jian Wushuang. It was the luck of Yu Gua, and her good luck. Unfortunately, love is a word that cannot be measured by strength. The snow monster Demon King was beheaded instantly. Mission completed. The token vibrated again. Talk to the Snow King. Jian Wushuang was surprised. What kind of mission is this? As soon as he spoke, he felt a breath converging, and turned his head to look at the snow monster demon king who had been strangled. Outsiders, you dare to kill this king. The blood on my body is the blood of the Arctic ice beasts. You will definitely die miserably. Jinshan opened his mouth and said, Snow King, you shouldn't have been here. If you are to blame, you shouldn't leave the Arctic ice sheet. I came here for a long time, and you destroyed my homeland. The snow monster demon king was very unwilling. Jian Wushuang thought of something at this time. Hidden task. The Arctic ice sheet, in the far north of the infinite world. To reach the end, they need to traverse the entire Arctic ice sheet. Perhaps you can ask about the situation of the Arctic ice sheet from the other party's mouth. Or even an advance map. With a safe route, they will be faster. This time Jian Wushuang talked in person. It really made him ask about the Arctic ice field from the mouth of the snow monster demon king. The three chiefs will not let you go, they will avenge Willump. As soon as the voice fell, the spirit of the demon king disappeared. On the ground, a snowball and a piece of craft paper were left. Jian Wushuang was overjoyed and said, It's an advance map. He picked up something on the ground with a stride. The snowball is a treasure of the acquired universe, but I don't know how power is. He threw it directly to Jinshan. Then I looked at the advance map. Chapter 5807. Sure enough, Shangfen marked some routes. But this route is not a safe route, but a treasure route. On the map, the locations of some heritage sites are recorded. According to the scale of the map, Jian Wushuang researched it and discovered that this route was actually a shortcut, and it was better than nothing. This time they really made a profit. Take this too. Jian Wushuang didn't take it as his own, and he gave the advance map to Jinshan. For him, it is the most important thing for the Empress to become a candidate. He looks down on the treasures of this place. If there is a treasure that is useful to the source, he will even look at it more. The origin of his starry sky has lit up 9,000 black holes. There is 1,000 black holes short of the complete universe. The universe controlled by the three tribulations realm can only be regarded as the Hinayana universe. The Lord of the four tribulations realm universe is considered Mahayana. The Lord of the universe in the five tribulations realm is consummation, and he is about to light up the perfect universe. As long as you break through the tribulation realm, you will be able to overcome the five tribulations at once. Become the Lord of the five tribulations realm universe. Let's get out quickly. The mission was completed, and it was time to leave. He was more afraid of Wu Li's fall than the treasures he got from the mission. Hope the opponent has enough cards. He could see that there were still many secrets in Wu Li's body. Even if the strength is a little weaker, there should be a lot of cards to protect your life. Pulling Jinshan several flashes, came to the entrance of the cave. The figures flashed, and the two left the cave at the same time. Outside Snow Shadow Mountain, Kuei Lang stepped on Elder Mu Chen's body, with one hand still carrying Wu Li, who was struggling. Nine Tigers was frightened and kept backing away, and had no fighting spirit. That's the ability, Kuei Lang said with disdain. With such a little strength, it scared the wolf to flee, and also lost the two masters of the universe. What a waste! Greedy Wolf looked embarrassed, but he didn't refute anything. He has been staring at the entrance of the hole. Huh! The breath that appeared instantly made Greedy Wolf look overjoyed. Knowing that Jian Wushuang had come out, regardless of Kuei Lang, he rushed towards the entrance of the cave, and at the same time was overjoyed. Kuei Lang looked stupidly. Rivalry Wolf cares more about those treasures than revenge. The value of the treasure is certainly not small for a special task alone. In his opinion, Kuei Lang is an idiot with well-developed limbs. As long as he takes the treasure, the credit is his. What are the deaths of the two masters of the universe? Jian Wushuang had just come out. Before he could see the situation on the field clearly, he found Greed Wolf rushing towards him. This time, he didn't need to bear it anymore. In the past, forbearance was unnecessary. This time the other party came for the treasure they got. It must be a battle of life and death. If you bear it any longer, it's time to prepare for him. The power of the beast broke out in an instant. and his divine power rose to 500,000 in an instant. Facing the claw of the greedy wolf, he took it with bare hands. The beasts were running wildly, and he held Jin Chun with one hand. The arm of the candle dragon in his left hand erupted, directly blocking the claw. This time, I won't keep my hand. Jian Wushuang grabbed the opponent's wolf claw's backhand and squeezed it fiercely. He heard a crisp sound. Greedy Wolf was shocked and said in anger, "You still hide your strength?" He didn't expect that Jian Wushuang would be so powerful without a sword. The divine power that just broke out is no longer weaker than him. Boom! A powerful force erupted from Greedy Lang's mouth, trying to attack Jian Wushuang at close range, but actually took the opportunity to get away. This little trick is hard to come by Jian Wushuang. It's just that he is lazy to pester each other. It is still important to save people first. Greedy Wolf frowned and said coldly, "Your sword is to confuse people? Whatever you think." Jian Wushuang said indifferently. He held Jin Chun with one hand and walked directly in front of Kuei Lang. Mu Chun, who was lying on the ground, looked anxiously when he saw Jian Wushuang. "Come on, you are not his opponent." Wu Li, who was pinched, couldn't even speak. He originally wanted to explode, but the existence in his body reminded him that Jian Wushuang has the strength to solve these people, and there is no need to waste his treasures. Originally, Wu Li didn't believe it, but just now, when he saw Jian Wushuang, he repelled greed, and he could feel Jian Wushuang's divine power, which had surpassed him and reached 500,000. This force was already able to compete with Kuei Lang. Kuei Lang didn't care. When he just wanted to speak, he didn't see Jian Wushuang's figure clearly, and he felt like he was grabbing Wu Li's arm. Click! With a crisp sound, Kuei Lang's entire arm broke directly. The arm fell together with Wu Li. Ah! Kuei Lang was taken aback. Jian Wushuang didn't give the opponent a chance to react, and then raised his foot and kicked directly to Kuei Lang's chest, directly kicking the opponent into the mountains behind. After breaking several majestic mountains one after another, it stopped. After gathering the power of all things in his hand, it was injected into the body of Elder Mu Chun, and the other party reluctantly stood up and recovered some divine power. Feeling the powerful divine power on Jian Wushuang's body, Elder Mu Chun was completely stunned. "You go first, it'll stop them." He let go of Jin Chun and took a step forward, directly blocking everyone. Elder Mu Chun was still a little worried, but knew that staying here would only cause Jian Wushuang trouble. "Be careful, we'll make up at the assembly place." After speaking, he took Wu Li and Jin Chun and quickly flew north. Jihu also hurried to keep up. Now only Jian Wushuang and the 7 universe masters of the Sirius tribe remained. Greedy Wolf rubbed the crushed wolf claws, and the blue veins burst on his forehead. He didn't expect Jian Wushuang to be so powerful. An emperor is so powerful that this is something he has never heard of. The other 5 universe masters of the 3 tribulations realm also knew that they were not opponents, and they retreated one after another. Boom! Kuei Lang, who was repulsed, lacked an arm, but his divine power did not weaken. Instead, he became a little crazy. He directly hit and broke several majestic mountains, and stood in front of Jian Wushuang again. With a loud shout, Calm's broken arm instantly recovered. Kuei Lang stared at Jian Wushuang and said madly, "You really have some ability. What nonsense, just do it." Jian Wushuang clenched his fists, and the red breath on his body exploded again. This time he directly used 3 times the power of the beast god. Divine power broke out to 550,000. Force Kuei Lang. Even if a few people join forces, he can quickly defeat each other. 500,000 and 50,000? Kuei Lang sneered, then turned to look at Greed Wolf and said, "This person is my prey, you can't make a move." Knowing that Jian Wushuang's divine power is stronger than him, and being so confident is obviously a lot of confidence, Greedy Wolf frowned and said in surprise, "Which trick are you going to use now? Otherwise," Kuei Lang said with disdain. _ Chapter 5808. You stupid! You have not yet reached the assembly point. You have to transform, And when will you recover from the curse left behind? Can't affect my family's plans. Greedy Wolf was a little anxious. Kuei Lang's combat power was ranked first among their serious tribe, and this combat power couldn't be wasted like that. As soon as he finished speaking, he thought of something. If Jian Wushuang really got the key treasure in Shuiying Mountain, he might be able to fight it once. After they enter the infinite world, they have to fight anyway. If you're scared, you can get out now. Kuei Lang gathered his chi with both hands, not taking care of the Greedy Wolf. Greedy Wolf has evil intentions. If Jian Wushuang and Kuei Lang lose both, perhaps he still has a chance to grab the credit. Jian Wushuang didn't have much interest in their conversation. When he heard the transformation, he thought of the secret technique of the Sky Wolf tribe's talent. Under the demon moon, the Sirius tribe can transform according to their blood, and their strength will increase exponentially. It's just that there isn't even a moon here, let alone a demon moon. Jian Wushuang looked at the aura gathered between his opponent's hands. The red divine power was somewhat similar to the power of his beast god. Your ancestor of the Sirius tribe, is it a natural beast god? It is probably because of this that he can resonate with his beasts. Beast god. Kuei Lang's eyes kept shrinking, and his hands were raised fiercely, throwing the red divine power in his hands to the sky. Wow, that breath is like a piece of condensed blood, and the sky is like a piece of paper. The blood burst, and the sky suddenly turned blood red. Kuei Lang looked up at the blood in the sky, and his eyes turned blood red. There are also 5 universe masters in the 3 tribulations realm, and the same changes have taken place. Their eyes turned red, and their bodies began to swell, instantly transforming into the form of a monster beast that is 10,000 feet tall. Divine power also began to skyrocket. Those universe masters in the 3 tribulations realm had only 350,000 divine power. But after the transformation, the divine power directly reached 400,000. A full increase of 50,000. Kuei Lang is even more exaggerated. His bloodline is stronger, and his divine power increases more. From 530,000, a direct increase to 600,000. Even so much, Jian Wushuang was extremely surprised. He thought it would be good to be able to increase by 20,000 to 30,000, but he did not expect to directly increase by a full 70,000. This is even more terrifying than the power of his beast god. Double the power of the beast god, only increased by 50,000. Huh. He turned to look at the Greedy Wolf on the other side, and found that the other party hadn't transformed. It seemed that he was not allowed to participate in the battle. Fair enough. Otherwise he is really struggling. 3 times the power of the beast is his current limit, and then he needs to use the armor. People from the outside world can see them fighting, and it's a little troublesome to use general armor rashly after all. It's better to use it or not. He now has the sword of 10,000 tribulations, but if it doesn't work, he will use the sword of 10,000 tribulations. Boy die! Kuei Lang stretched out his sharp claws and tore directly towards Jian Wushuang. The terrifying power shattered the sky. Several spatial cracks appeared instantly, and countless winds gathered. Jian Wushuang had nowhere to hide, so he could only resist. Crossed his hands on his chest, he just took it down. The flesh was torn innumerably, and his divine power began to decline. The gap is a bit big. 550,000 supernatural powers. Battle 600,000 supernatural powers. It seems that the difference is only 50,000, but the actual difference is exactly double the combat power. Beast God Realm. Jian Wushuang also began to explode. Kuei Lang in the realm felt his divine power, and was actually suppressed a little surprised. Kuei Lang, who was originally relatively arrogant, also began to be serious, and said to the men behind him, "You stop his back, and I will attack." Yes, the 5 masters of the universe in the 3 tribulations realm directly surrounded Jian Wushuang. Looking around, Jian Wushuang knew that this battle could only be fought hard. Then start with you. The red magical power on Jian Wushuang instantly disappeared, and his magical power was reduced to 400,000. The masters of the 3 tribulations realm universe surrounding Jian Wushuang were stunned. You surrender now, and you will die too. Kuei Lang directly rushed up. Jian Wushuang's eyebrows twitched, but the aura on his body was the same as that of another person. Surrounded by blue aura, countless electric arcs erupted. The power of the origin is not violent, but flexible, and even more fierce. Song. Jian Wushuang directly drew out the sword of 10,000 tribulations, and his figure disappeared in the same place instantly, much faster than before. Kuei Lang missed a claw. Before he could react, Jian Wushuang had already arrived behind him. With his back facing each other, Jian Wushuang's mouth raised. The strongest stay behind. It is more important to solve the master of these three tribulations realm first. The blue sword shadow of myriad tribulation sword filled the blood-red sky. Die! Jian Wushuang yelled. A sword swept across, and countless sword shadows flew out. The lord of the three tribulations realm cosmos, surrounding him, was instantly killed. The vitality in the body disappeared almost instantly. The outsiders who watched this battle couldn't help but take a breath. The sword of Jian Wushuang, just now, really surprised many people. This son absolutely mastered the origin of the universe, but has been suppressing the realm without breakthrough. Like which great priest? Many people exclaimed. Haha, no matter how strong a great priest is, it is only comparable to the three tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang has surpassed the three tribulations realm regardless of his divine power or origin, and he can even kill the four tribulations realm. Many seven tribulations realms' eyes also looked at Jian Wushuang. The sword Jian Wushuang just made was really too dazzling. The body of the emperor instantly killed 5 masters of the universe, with 400,000 supernatural powers. If they hadn't seen it with their own eyes, they would never believe it. The head teacher of the Gu Mu sect also narrowed his eyes. The more he looked at Jian Wushuang, the more familiar he became, and suddenly he thought of something. He had seen the blue breath. A hint of surprise flashed in his eyes. Could it be that Lord Bobby D sent it? The palm teacher of the Gu Mu sect sank, but after thinking about it, Bobby D did not notify him in advance. It's a pity that he couldn't take the initiative to contact Bobby D. Otherwise he would be able to verify. Emperor Bobby, if he really planned the Gu Mu sect, he would have no way. Now in the Gu Mu sect, only the Shimu King is in charge. The master of the 7 tribulations realm universe is not in Gu Mu continent at all. Even if there is the master of the 7 tribulations realm universe, it is useless. He has seen the strength of Qi Jiuxiao. It is much stronger than the master of the 8 tribulations realm universe, and it's useless for anyone to come. Not to mention the ancient Wood continent. Looking at the entire Guyu time and space, the advantage lies with Emperor Bobby. There is no right or wrong in his team. Let's take a look. The Gu Mu sect headmaster glanced around, watching the guidance of those strong men, and snorted in his heart. The Lord of the Universe is only temporary. Dispersal is a lifetime. Infinite world. Jian Wushuang instantly killed the 5 masters of the universe after transforming. The Lord of the Universe with 400,000 supernatural powers can be killed without any difficulty at all. Chapter 5809. The strongest opponent is Kuei Lang. The supernatural power of 600,000. For Jian Wushuang, there was still some pressure. Although he has a lot of cards now. But it's not going to be used now. Wan Lu hadn't seen it, and even the infinite world hadn't even entered. He exposed his whole cards, and the gains outweighed the losses. If you can drag, you can drag. And if you can hide, you can hide. He is an emperor. There is no need to be a hero on this occasion. If he wants to show his face, when he enters Wanlu, the entire Gu Mu continent will remember him. You don't think you can fight with me if you kill a few waste products? Kuei Lang's breath was shocked, and he took the sword from Jian Wushuang, and said with a grim expression holding the blade. I will let you see. Look, the strongest secret method of the Sirius tribe. Can you still improve? Jian Wu's color changed slightly, and he quickly drew out the sword of 10,000 tribulations, his figure constantly retreating. The greedy wolf next to him was also taken aback. Although the two of them came from the same secret realm, they were only familiar with their own secrets. The real trump card, let alone the same clan, would not be told by the couple. Kuei Lang clenched his fists with both hands, his breath exploded again, and his eyes were about to burst. Split the sky. The surrounding space began to collapse. With this trick, the momentum alone can tear the space apart. Really crack the sky. Kuei Lang's divine power has not changed, but his secret technique has changed. Jian Wushuang was also a little panicked. The universe master of the Four Tribulations realm was not as simple as he thought. With such strength, it already has the combat power of the Five Tribulations realm. But that is after all a threshold, just like the limit of the Emperor. It is said to be 100,000 supernatural powers, but there are still many arrogances, capable of reaching 150,000, or even 200,000. The same is true for the Lord of the Universe. Kuei Lang's explosion is enough to match the Lord of the Universe in the Five Tribulations realm. If Jian Wushuang is too dazzling, it can also cause a lot of shock. Boy, it's over. Kuei Lang stretched out his hand, with upturned, a force that swept the world, instantly razed the nearby mountains to the ground. Jian Wushuang relied on the beast's wings to resist with difficulty. He knew that the other party hadn't really shot yet. What was just now is just an appetizer. This time he was really big. But because of the outbreak of the opponent, he now also has a sense of war, and is beginning to boil. Come on, let me see the real secrets of your serious tribe. Jian Wushuang shook his Xiu robe, holding the sword of 10,000 tribulations upside down, and there was a look of resoluteness in his eyes. If you want to fight, then fight. Kuei Lang grinned, and a black power began to rise on his hands or claws. Lightion change. Kuei Lang opened his arms, and his whole body was plunged into black power, condensed with hay mist into one body, and rushed directly to Jian Wushuang. The speed is faster than ever. The passing space directly began to collapse. It has been able to destroy the space of the infinite world. If it is a strong person in the Five Tribulations realm, I am afraid it can destroy the infinite world. The wings behind Jian Wushuang shook, and he moved a distance from Kuei Lang, and he continued to use the shadow of myriad tribulations to pull with the opponent. But the fierce Jianing could not shake the power of the opponent. In other words, his current original strength is not enough to break defenses. Starry Atlas. He didn't delay when he saw this situation, and directly displayed the Star Atlas. The huge picture concealed the sky. The sword of 10,000 tribulations also buzzed. A powerful starry sky power increased to Jian Wushuang's body. The first sword. Jian Wushuang raised his hand, and the sword shadow of the Wanjie sword turned into the sky, and a green sword shadow cut out from the Wanjian. The sword of life. A sword that was proud of. He didn't believe that the opponent could still block this sword. Kuei Lang didn't dodge in the face of this sudden real sword, but treated it as an ordinary sword shadow, raising his hand to block it. But when he touched this sword, the vitality in his body was crazily twisted, and then he was in awe of life. He began to shudder. Jian Wushuang saw that this sword was effective, so he took advantage of the situation, and chopped out hundreds of swords again. The 100 Paths of Life sword completely drained the life force in Jian Wushuang's body. In the past, he would be exhausted with one sword, but now he has used 100 swords in a row to reach the limit. For him now, the power of life is more than enough, to the point that the power of death is too little. If you use the second sword Death of the Star Catalog, he can use 10 swords at most. And to restore the power of death, he also needs to reverse his life, which is extremely troublesome. But restoring life is much simpler. The power of all things can condense at any time. In just such a breathing time, he recovered a bit. 100 swords of life, against Kuei Lang. Even if it can't kill the opponent, it can still cause Kuei Lang to be seriously injured. Seeing Kuei Lang resisting hard, Jian Wushuang thought that the other party was over. But the divine power of Kuei Lang's body has not weakened. Instead, life is constantly passing by. Get out of here. Kuei Lang was furiously haunted by the sword shadow of the Sword of Life. Facing the subsequent Sword of Life, he broke out again. This time the divine power began to rise. An aura of horror exploded in an instant. Kuei Lang's divine power reached 680,000 in an instant. This scene not only shocked Jian Wushuang, Even the greedy wolf couldn't help but retreat, because he knew that now Kuei Lang would lose his reason if he used the secret method. The transformation of the Sirius tribe can be divided into two forms. One is the current form of Kuei Lang, which can increase divine power, but the flaw is that the character will become more and more angry and cannot be used for a long time. The second form is also an increase in power, and the increase in power will be more powerful. The flaws are also more terrifying. You will lose consciousness and enter a state of violentness. It will not stop until the divine power is exhausted and into deep sleep. Greedy Wolf knew that the current Kuei Lang was very violent because of his first transformation and his original character. This time he gave up everything and wanted Jian Wushuang to die. He didn't quite understand it for a while. Jian Wushuang was clearly his subordinates who killed him at first, so why was Kuei Lang so angry? Then he thought of something and let it go. Kuei Lang's mother, who was once a saint of the Sirius tribe, ran away because of a powerhouse from the Yu Kingdom. I heard that he is still a clan patriarch in Yu Country. That's why Kuei Lang faced the powerhouses of the Yu Country, and he was extremely angry. Because of this incident, the clan has often left Kuei Lang, who was originally in the cold. Fortunately, behind Kuei Lang is getting stronger and stronger, so fewer people know about this. I don't dare to mention it again if I know it, because whoever mentions this matter will pay a great price. Kuei Lang covered his head with his claws and completely transformed himself into a brief torment. This is to obliterate his consciousness. Kuei Lang now had a trace of consciousness left. He shook his head madly, and his remaining consciousness made him look at Greed Wolf. Greedy Wolf, you don't forget. Promise. Kuei Lang's intermittent voice fell, and he was completely violent. Chapter 58:10. Jian Wushuang blinked and said to himself, I don't seem to have much hatred with you. Could it be that among the few people he killed just now, there was Kuei Lang's own father? Otherwise it won't be so hard. When Greedy Wolf heard this, his eyes were dull, and he muttered to himself, Promise? It should be their natal oath made by the Sirius tribe, that in the infinite world, the interests of the Sirius tribe are paramount. The two have only this friendship. I will keep my promise, and I will save you once if necessary. Greedy Wolf didn't cause evil intentions because of greed this time, but admired Kuei Lang a little. He would never be so desperate. Unless the other party threatens his life, he wouldn't encounter such a critical thing, and if he encountered it, he would escape first before talking about it. Unlike Kuei Lang, he has to fight to death and life. Wow! The sound of howling wolves spread throughout the mountain range. Kuei Lang completely turned into his body, his limbs stepping on the mountain peak. Facing Jian Wushuang, he rushed forward without fear. The supernatural power of 680,000. That's not a joke. Even the Lord of the Universe in the Five Tribulations realm would probably be at this level. Who can stand it? Bright sword. Although Jian Wushuang didn't have much confidence, he still wanted to try. Two-sword sliding cut. So far the strongest two swords. Show it together. The figure is like a sword shadow moving, passing through Kuei Lang's body. But the other party has nothing at all. The divine power has not diminished. Not an opponent at all. Then I can only go. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Originally, his fighting spirit was hooked out, but it was discovered that the opponent was an unconscious beast, and it didn't mean much to fight. It's a waste of time. Go. Putting the sword of 10,000 tribulations back into the scabbard, the blue aura on his body boiled again, directly reaching the deep blue state. Can't beat, he can't hide? He had studied the ability to escape from Qishan Temple and understood it. From being looted by King White for the first time, to the army of gods later. He was caught every time. He will get rid of it later. The strongest secret method is always used to save life. Finding that Jian Wushuang wanted to escape, Greedy Wolf couldn't stand still at this time. And he was a little sorry for Kuei Lang if he didn't make a move at this time. Want to leave? The soft armor burst on Greed Wolf, and his body shape was directly transformed into the first form. Divine power also came to 550,000. He wanted to stop Jian Wushuang, Jian Wushuang didn't treat him as a human at all. One thought of the universe. The elliptical universe descended instantly. It directly encompasses half of the mountain range. The wings behind Jian Wushuang are even more integrated with Yin universe. 3 shocks in the universe. His wings shook, and his figure disappeared in an instant. Greedy Wolf threw a claw into the air, not to mention Jian Wushuang's figure. Even Jian Wushuang's breath could not be felt. How can this be? He looked up at the sky and felt the power had changed. Completely stunned. That is the embryonic form of the universe. The most famous of Gumu continent is the kingdom of gods built by flame gods. Although it is a special life, there is no original universe. But he was stunned that he had built a universe no less than the Lord of the universe. In the universe of the flame gods, he can burst out the top combat power of the 8 tribulations realm. It's just that the universe can't be carried with me. Just like the ordinary master of the universe. But this is enough for special beings. There is no supreme calamity of the universe, just the amount of calamity of the divine body. You can drag it for as long as you want. Those who can accommodate their own original universe are the real masters of the 8 tribulations realm universe. Jian Wushuang's current universe is said to be a rudimentary form, but the origin is stronger than the wolf greedy origin universe. Even those who were watching this battle were boiling over. Seeing Jian Wushuang's thought of the universe, I thought of the prototype of the universe built by the flame gods. But the prototype universe of the flame gods cannot be accommodated. Jian Wushuang, an emperor, could actually accommodate the universe. Although it's just a rudimentary form, it's scary enough. Building the rudimentary universe is nothing to Jian Wushuang. The strong who watched the battle also thought Jian Wushuang had that ability. But being able to accommodate the universe is a bit outrageous. Many people have already begun to look at Jian Wushuang. Accept the universe? How did you do it? This is a big problem. If there is a method, it is enough to change the current situation. Yugua's son-in-law? Interesting. After the sacred meeting is over, be sure to draw this child together and ask about ways to accommodate the universe. The robbers, without the universe, have no much interest in accepting the universe. But those masters of the 6 tribulations realm universe need this kind of method. If you can accommodate the universe and explore the mystery of time and space, you can also bring the original universe, and your combat power will be raised to a level. The 6 tribulations realm will be able to go to the secret realms, where the 7 tribulations realm powerhouse breaks. The treasures and upgrades obtained have changed qualitatively. Connecting He Jianxian is tempted. He and Jian Wushuang still have some friendship, but this friendship is far worse than that of accepting universe. Even if it's a real dad, you have to ask. Infinite world. Jian Wushuang took a few breaths, used tens of thousands of times to shake the universe, and left the mountain directly, completely reached the infinite world. At this moment, he didn't know that he had caused a great shock after he exerted a thought on the universe. Otherwise he would definitely not be exposed at this time. This is also Kuei Lang's good luck. Jian Wushuang can also behead the opponent, if he can only fight without fleeing. Once the general armor is used, he can use 5 times the power of the beast god, and his divine power can be increased to 650,000. Coupled with the 700,000 supernatural power in the jade pot of the ancient temple. Strangling Kuei Lang is too simple. After receiving a thought of the universe, he just came out of the mountain range when he happened to meet the Li family patriarch sent by the empress. Wu Li is also here. Elder Mu Chen had already gone to the assembly place to recuperate because of the serious injury. Jian Wushuang, you really escaped. The Li family patriarch was a little surprised. He knows the secrets of the Sirius tribe very well. Calm because his Taoist companion is the sage of the Sirius tribe. According to his seniority, Kuei Lang would call him a godfather. It's a pity that this unfilial son doesn't even recognize his mother. If Jian Wushuang knew that the other party had this relationship with Kuei Lang, he would probably swear. The juniors have some opinions on speed, and most people can't catch up. Jian Wushuang said modestly. To put it nicely, there are some achievements in speed. The uglier point is to escape quickly, the patriarch of the Li family exclaimed. The Wushuang nephew is humble, and the speed is also a great power. This time you can fight against the 2-4 tribulations universe masters. After you go out, you will definitely be famous. Many 7 tribulations are great. Those who are able are still watching. This is true, but Jian Wushuang didn't care about it. Underscore. Chapter 58:11. This time, after he goes out, it is normal that all parties will hunt down and kill him. Okay, let's go. Many teams have already set out to enter the infinite world. We are the slowest group. Jian Wushuang nodded, keeping up with the opponent's speed, and moving towards the assembly point with all his strength. In any case, they are not the slowest. There are strong men from the Sirius clan waiting for them. But after reaching the assembly point, Jian Wushuang knew that the powerhouse of the Sirius tribe had already set off. In other words, the people in the Sirius secret realm took the initiative to give up Kuei Lang and Greed Wolf. It is estimated that Greedy Wolf sent the news back to the clan. The strongest combat power in the 4 tribulations realm has been abolished, and there is no need to wait any longer. Although the Greedy Wolf is still there, but using the talent secret method, it will not recover for a while. Can only be discarded. These abandoned strong will be judged as a failure, and will be sent away. Assemble the camp. It's just a small town temporarily built around an ancient teleportation formation. There are not many strong players at this time. Jian Wushuang followed the Li family patriarch into a compound, and the empress had been waiting for a long time. Elder Mu Chen also returned to his peak state. Now that everyone is here, let's go. The empress has already seen the advance map of the Arctic ice sheet. This time what she waited for was valuable. Even if it is behind other teams now, latecomers can still catch up. Jian Wushuang just took a breath, and once again followed the empress in the teleportation formation, truly entering the periphery of the infinite world. Only this time, the empress took the seat herself. No need for him to fight against the banner. Their luck was also better, and they were transported to an ancient river. Although there are many wild animals in Hanoi, fortunately, this place is not an ancient relic. There is not much hindrance. Even if it encounters a desolate beast with a supernatural power of 500,000, the female emperor can kill it at will, almost equal to air. The female emperor even took out an ancient ship. Everyone was riding on the ancient ship. For 100 days, the line has reached the depths of the periphery. At this speed, I am afraid it can be ranked in the top 3. After walking for a while, they will be able to reach the inner circumference of the infinite world. That is the most central location. Jian Wushuang was also recovering the loss of life force in these days. Finally took a breath. Very comfortable sitting on the deck and drinking tea. The 4 tribulation realm powerhouses take turns to monitor the surroundings. The lord of the 3 tribulations realm will also patrol the ancient ship. Only the emperor is the easiest. The 4 emperors had almost nothing to do, except for Jian Wushuang. They were resting in the cabin. At this moment, there is no mood for cultivation. Not only are they on their way, they are still waiting for news. The assessment of the congregation is not just as simple as passing the infinite world. They have to accept many tasks. After completing the task, you will get some special treasures, which can only be used by the candidate saint. Once the candidates for the 4 saints are selected, then the special treasures obtained by other teams are useless. At this time, the candidates of the 4 saints will spare no room to buy these special treasures. It can also be considered to make up for the teams that were not selected. This is also a big receipt. But after so long, the Guma faction has not assigned them a task. I don't know if it was their bad luck, they didn't get it, or other reasons. But even so, they also have a lead. With the advance map, the upper points mark the route of the treasure house, and many treasures can also be obtained. Therefore, the Empress has not been anxious about the task but just rushes. Enter the Arctic ice sheet early, where is the place to fight? On the deck. The Empress stood at the bow of the ship. After the elder Mu Chun made a round of inspections, He went to report the situation on both sides of the ancient river to the empress, and then retreated. Wuxia nephew, it's better for you to relax. Mu Chen came to the table and was not polite. He just sat down and poured tea by himself. Jian Wuxia shook his head and said, "Where is there any easy time? The last war left a lot of hidden dangers, and now it has just recovered to its peak." "That's right, I have to thank you last time. If it weren't for you, I might have fallen." Elder Mu Chen picked up the teacup and drank a cup of tea instead of wine with Jian Wuxia. The two had just chatted a few words, but the ancient ship began to shake. Elder Mu Chen's complexion instantly pulled down. That flood dragon, how come back suddenly? After Elder Mu Chen felt the breath, his complexion changed drastically. Jian Wuxia said in amazement, "Jialong? Is there a flood dragon in this river?" He doesn't know anything. Elder Mu Chen also discovered the Jialong when he was patrolling the two banks of the ancient river. However, according to his calculation, the flood dragon should have gone ashore to lay dragon eggs. "Why did you come back suddenly?" Being able to make Elder Mu Chen so surprised. From the bottom of his heart, Jian Wuxia deduced from that breath that it was at least the combat power of the five tribulations realm. Divine power is no less than 600,000. This bit of combat power, for the Empress, shouldn't be a big deal. And he saw that the Empress was still standing at the bow of the ship so calmly. There shouldn't be a big problem. Jian Wuxia stood up, looked down at the turbulent lake, but also wanted to see how powerful the flood dragon was. At this moment, Wu Li rushed out of the cabin, and when Jian Wuxia was still looking down at the river, he quickly transmitted his voice. "Be careful, Your Majesty's deity is not on the ancient ship. The dragon is a big trouble." "What?" Jian Wuxia looked at the back of the Empress with an incredible expression. Then he looked at Wu Li again, shocked at first, and then there were some strange colors in his eyes. The deity of the Empress is not in the ancient ship. In other words, the Empress standing at the bow of the ship is just a clone. But he didn't know from beginning to end. He didn't even know Wu Li actually knew. This is very strange. But now is not the time to think about this. It is important to protect yourself first. Patriarchally, you first stabilize the ancient ship, and the rest will enter the cabin. Elder Mu Chen, regardless of the female emperor's clone, began to order everyone. Patriarchally, who also understood at this time, screamed inwardly, but he still complied. Now that everyone is in the same boat, the Empress did not say a word, and the deity left without saying a word in advance. It's really unreasonable. And it seemed that there was only one master of the universe in the four tribulations realm. The rest of the people went out with the Empress. Jian Wuxia followed Wu Li directly into the cabin, not caring about outside matters. The sky is falling, and the tall man is holding it. This time he would not rush forward stupidly. After entering the cabin, Jian Wuxia dared to transmit a voice to Wu Li. "From the other side, I learned the whereabouts of the Empress. Steal the dragon egg. Special mission?" Jian Wuxia said carefully. Wu Li nodded. "Whose task?" 9 tigers. _ Chapter 58:12. Hearing this name, Jian Wuxia could understand why Wu Li would know that the Empress left a clone. The luck of their previous team was too bad. First Jin Chen received a special task. Then there was 9 tigers again. This time the qualification token sent by the royal family is really a blood gain. The mission of a few stars actually made Your Majesty's deity dispatch, and also brought several four tribulations realm powerhouses. Jian Wuxia asked curiously. Wu Li shook his head. He really didn't know this. However, the Empress would have to take so many people to go. I'm afraid it would be a special mission of at least 4 stars. Before Jihu left, he only told him about this matter, and didn't say anything else. At this critical time, Wu Li didn't dare to ask too much. It seems that this time is firmly in the top 4. Wu Li smiled slightly and nodded. The female emperor was able to enter the top 4, and the 2 of them were the happiest. In this way, he will be able to approach Wanlu Shenmu. Wait first. Everyone in the cabin still didn't know what had happened, but there was a huge wave on the Furukawa River. The dragon egg was stolen. No wonder the dragon was so angry. This is just the beginning. They can only pin their hopes on the Empress. Originally, Jian Wushuang felt that the flood dragon had only 600,000 supernatural powers. At present, it seems that he underestimated this dragon. Just finished laying eggs, can still be so strong. I am afraid that at the peak period, he has already had a half-step battle strength in the Six Tribulations realm. Even when the female emperor went to steal the dragon egg, she would have to take a few Four Tribulations realm powerhouses. Obviously, she didn't have much confidence. Boom! The ancient ship shook again. There seemed to be something at the bottom of the ancient ship. The entire ancient ship almost capsized. The head of the Li family who maintained the ancient ship looked embarrassed. He can't hold it anymore. The dragon burned its essence and blood, and was about to destroy the ancient ship. A few more collisions will cause the ancient ship to fall apart. Without the support of the ancient ship, he would have to flee for his life by then, let alone other people. The female emperor was too late to return, so he could only tell Wu Li through a voice message that it would not last long, and he was ready to flee at any time. Your Majesty, you have to hurry up. Elder Mu Chun gritted his teeth, preparing to make the final decision. Jian Wushuang leaned his back against the wall, looking at the painful look of Elder Dao Mukin, a little strange in his heart. If the ancient boat can't hold it, just run away separately. No need to entangle. The master of the Three Tribulations realm universe in the cabin was originally cannon fodder, and his only role was to try his luck as a tool man to take on tasks. Even if it fell, Elder Muchin didn't need to be so entangled. Only a few of these masters of the universe are members of the royal family. More of the ancestors of those family powers. Once you fall, not only will you be over, but the family will also be over. Originally, it is to seek wealth and wealth, but no one can blame others. Taoist Wushuang, let's run away together in a while so there may be a response. Wu Li calmly transmitted to Jian Wushuang at this time. He is the one who can see most clearly. I know it won't last long, and the Empress won't be able to come back for a while. That Jialong's lair is actually not far from here. With the speed of the Empress, he was able to rush back soon. As for why not come back to rescue them, I'm afraid it's because of the task that I can't come back. In other words, this dragon was deliberately released by the Empress and the others, in order to complete the task, sacrifice them to lead away the dragon. That's why Elder Muchen's complexion was so embarrassing. But in order for Vietnam to be able to take another step, at this time they can only be sacrificed. Escape. Jian Wu's double-face movement made him feel the ancient ship falling apart. First, the sound was transmitted to Wu Li, and then with one claw, the Princess Jin Chun was directly pulled over. But when he pulled it over, he realized that the other party was also a clone. Jian Wushuang cursed secretly, ignoring the others, and broke open the cabin, looked up and then rushed towards the huge wave ahead. Wu Li also followed behind him. Wait for the old man. Elder Muchin knew that Jian Wushuang's strength was extraordinary, perhaps even stronger than the Li family's patriarch, so he planned to flee with Jian Wushuang for the first time. But other people don't have any direction. Scattered around, I didn't know where to escape. Seeing that there was no hope, the patriarch of the Li family led a strong man in the clan and rushed towards Jian Wushuang. At this moment, they can only face the huge waves and flee forward. Jian Wushuang took the lead and plunged into the huge waves. There was already a thunderstorm in the sky, and there was no way to go. Can only start from the river low, but the dragon is also at the bottom of the river. After the ancient ship burst and broke apart, many of the masters of the universe, before they fled in all directions, were chopped into blue smoke by the thunderstorm field cast by the dragon. More than 20 masters of the universe, most of them died at once. Especially the other two emperors died tragically. No one is going to save it. The key cannot be saved. Jian Wushuang took the lead to escape and sneaked into the bottom of Guha with Jin Chun. Because the response was relatively timely, he was not attacked by that dragon. Behind him, Wu Li and Elder Muchin ran faster than Patriarch Li. None of them are fools, knowing the power of them. Anyone who dares to fight hard at this time will be fatal. The Empress can still fight. Even if there are several Four Tribulations Realm Cosmos Masters joining forces, there is a possibility of a battle. However, it is not enough to have only one Li family patriarch who is unwilling to contribute. Jian Wushuang could see which Li family patriarch was very vigorous, and his divine power was not low, and he could still maintain the ancient ship if he really had to work hard. But as the head of the family, the opponent is not fighting alone. If he falls, the Li family will be abolished. The so-called top 10 families in Vietnam are actually very weak. Like the Li family, although the master of the universe had been out of the Six Tribulations realm, that ancestor had already fallen. And now there are only 2 5 tribulations scattered within the family. As the strongest combat power in the family, how dare he go desperately? There are other clan chiefs who have already fallen, and their clan will also fall. It is impossible to maintain a clan by looting the strong. Jian Wushuang naturally knew this, and he didn't complain about anyone in his heart. I just feel that what the Empress did this time is a bit too much. To complete special tasks, no problem. It's okay if you don't tell them why. For confidentiality, calm for security. Can understand. But what's going on to bring Jialong here? Tune the tiger away from the mountain? Reluctant to bear children can't catch wolves? This is really cheating one's own child. Princess Jinshan is still on the ancient ship. At this time, following Jian Wushuang, he was still confused, not knowing what happened. Can only follow Jian Wushuang to escape without a clue. Family, Jian Wushuang shook his head. And what was even more ridiculous was the so-called glory. The glory of the family is tied to your strength. You have no strength. In the strongest family, you are also an ant, and you may be given up at any time. It is better to fight alone without worry. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.